Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
A proven winner on the hockey rink, Joe Wolf knows what it takes to be the best. That's why he has the best rates in the area and only has rave reviews of his work with Wolf Power Washing. Get that siding back to its original color with Joe. Call him at 314-420-5434. That's 314-420-5434.
Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with
Valley Sports West.
And you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all the hot takes.
I totally see Hoffman putting up 30, 35 goals
in a 56-game season?
Yeah.
You know, Jeff, you were saying you didn't think he was going to score 20 goals next season.
I still think
that's a possible.
I mean, I will literally be happy to grab a live crow and eat it if Tarasenko comes back and scores 30, 40 goals in the NHL in the season.
With a last name like Bolduc, he's not going to play for us. There's just something about that last name is not going to make the NHL on this team. And for the Blues, I just don't see it happening. It seems like a name that is not conducive to play in the NHL.
Kurt Price is already making his claim that Zach Bolduc will never wear a Blues jersey in a regular season game.
No.
And starting on defense from St. Charles, Missouri, number 94, Jeff Ponder.
Get that shit out. Dick.
Unless you have packages of, from Cahokia, Bill Day, and from...
No, I didn't get any of that because you guys weren't there, so...
Yeah, that would have been a nice Christmas gift for us, but...
Oh, well, I don't think about you guys when I'm interviewing Tom Calhoun, so there you go. Welcome to the debut episode of Season 14 of the Antidote to Corporate Hockey Coverage. We're not slick, not perfect, overly critical as you can only be with someone you love, but the perfect complement to the slavish, unquestioning promotion found in commercial media. We are Let's Go Blues Radio, and I want to thank, that is actually those are all quotes. Kurt, you remember those where that's from?
I'm sending out the tweet.
That's fine. It is from our an Apple review from Ted12734 on Apple Podcasts. So I want to thank Ted for saying all those nice things about us. Yes, that's the new intro. There you go. Special thanks to our sponsors, realtor Mike Burgoyne, who can email us at, you can email him at mike@strikewithmike.com today. And we thank him for proudly sponsoring the show. Make sure you utilize him if you're buying or selling property. And Wolf Power Washing. He's the best power washing rates in town. I can't talk today, guys. Call Joe at 314-420-5434 and book your appointment today. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for some merch you won't find anywhere else that supports us as well as your favorite hockey team. Check us out on Discord. Remember fan forums, guys? Well, this is the new wave of forums, so check out letsgoblues.com/Discord. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, and we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Kurt's kids' school computers, wherever you get live video casts. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all social channels is at LGB Radio. Just search for us and you'll find us. Please like, follow, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by Kurt Price and Bill Day. The agenda for tonight includes the official Let's Go Blues Radio season preview of the 2024-25 campaign for the St. Louis Blues. All that and more on this sexually gratifying edition of Let's Go Blues Radio. Gentlemen,
sexually, that was a mouthful. I could have taken a nap during that intro. The sexually adequate.
Sexually
adequate. The adjective I would have chose, yeah. But how old is Discord? Like 10 years old? How old is it's older than that, right? I guess it's been around for a long time. But yeah. But yes, I would love to get Discord going. So
Long enough to have been involved in a national security issue.
well, we don't want to talk about that.
That's true, actually. Look at you with the times.
Yeah, but I mean, we've the like forums, discussion forums used to be the thing, 10, 12, 14 years ago. But they're kind of dying off, even though you still see them every now and then. Social media is kind of killing those things. Facebook, Twitter, but Discord still is, and Reddit, going strong. But Discord's nice. Discord's got an app for your phone, which is quite nice to be able to read messages from our Discord. Check it out. Our friends at TL10 USA have a Discord as well, which I'm a member of. I get lots of notifications. Theirs is busy. Their Discord is busy.
They've always been busy. I joined a couple years ago, I remember, and it was like, dang, they've got a lot of Sharks fans weighing in.
Yeah. So they've done a good job promoting that. So let's go, Blues fans. Let's get the Discord going.
Definitely. Is it Discord or Discord?
I say Discord, but
I think that's what I say too. Discord. Yeah.
Discord sounds, it's Discord.
That word has no meaning to me. Discord.
I have no idea.
Well, I like that it keeps the theme of, us probably mispronouncing things on the regular.
We are very good at that.
I wonder if Traverse City has its own Discord.
Traverse City.
I hate you guys. This is my last season of Let's Go Blues Radio. I'm done.
14 is your limit.
There could be a really bad joke made right there, but we're just gonna let that one go.
14.
All right, let's make the uncomfortable transition from that. First thing I want to add is that we just wrapped up the summer series, so that was great. So season 13 ended with a bang. First time ever, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize this, that we opened the summer series and closed the summer series with a mystery hockey theater. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
that is a good precedent that we have set.
I think it's the way to go
to continue.
Yes, I agree. I think that's the way to go. I think that forces us to at least do 2 a year. So I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I always say this. We should do more.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I don't even care if nobody tunes in. They're just fun to do.
Yep, I agree. I've been, if you keep wondering why I'm like looking over, it's because I don't think we're on Instagram. It's not wanting to load. So, but it's fine. We've got our wonderful YouTube audience. I hope
finally
our Facebook audience. We'll see.
Really?
Yeah, there's some. No one's chatting, but we got some viewer stats.
We've got viewers. We can tell we've got viewers, but we got no chat right now. Which that's a great transition, fellas, because we do have some giveaways tonight. So basically, how this is going to work. So I've got a ton of giveaways. I've got let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 things that I've been wanting to give away that I've just been stockpiling. So what we're going to do for you live listeners is we are going to kind of like how we always do it, just a little different since we're giving away multiple things. Just comment. And if it's something that one of us likes, even Kurt or Bill,
even
or me, right? Yeah. Well, you guys always
one of us,
me,
one of us, even
like,
Kurt.
Jeff, you've got to decide. Like you're the one giving them away, so you got to decide. I'm leaving it up to you guys too, because we have so many things to give away. If you see something you like, just say it. Hey, this person gets a giveaway, and I'm going to let you choose what you want. So for those of you listening live, go ahead, jump in that chat, join us in the conversation, bring up anything Blues related, and Bill, you are ineligible. So nice try.
There's already a first message in the chat. What does he win?
Make him ineligible too.
He said hi. What does he win?
He wins nothing. That is not good enough. So yeah, we will do this throughout the show. So for those of you that maybe tune in later, we will rehash it Wow, that's wonderful, Keith Price. Thank you. Hi to you as well.
have
But
that-
yeah, we
that
will
sign?
we will do this throughout the show. So keep commenting, keep talking with us as we break down the upcoming season. But should I show a couple of them? Let's see what I got.
Yeah.
There we go. That's
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, my comment there's one was actually I was trying to keep the thread going, started by Kurt's pickleball account asking where are all the white women at?
Which,
Divide by
which-
zeros in the chat.
which
Hey
is-
guys, let's go Blues. Yeah.
which is not me being racist.
It's
I mean,
you
from
quoting the funniest
Bla-
movie of all time.
Blazing Saddles, right? I mean, I'm sure
Funniest
there are some.
movie of
It's
all
old enough now where I'm
time.
sure a lot of people
Ooh.
have not seen that movie. But
That is a fantastic movie. Don't get me wrong, and I definitely put it in my top. It's probably on my Mount Rushmore, but I don't know if I can say it's the funniest movie of all time. It's in my Mount Rushmore, though. I'll give you that. Okay, couple things we're giving away here. There's a TJ Oshie, one of those towel things that they give away at the playoff games.
a lot of white women going to be joining the show for that.
For sure.
And then, is this like I guess it's just like a carry bag, Blues
No, like
carry
a-
bag.
Okay, it's not
Yeah,
a
with
fanny
the
pack.
zipper on
It's
top. Not a fanny pack. It's
like
more like a
almost
purse.
like a purse.
So the white
Yeah.
women will love this too.
The white. Yeah, because black women do not carry purses. Asian women do
got-
not carry purses.
STL hats, which I believe were Busch Stadium giveaways. So we got a
You said-
couple of these.
Okay,
They are snap or
that's
no, they're the ones with the what is that called? The
buckle?
buckle, I guess. Yeah.
adjustable.
And let's see. We've got a Ric Flair. Woo! We've got a bobblehead of Ric Flair from the Blues game a couple years ago.
You know, he's my most hated wrestler.
Most hated? Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Iron
he
Sheik was
is.
pretty hated.
I mean, he was a character. I just from the whole. I think it probably boils down to him causing fans to go woo during games. So that's
Reason
I-
enough.
Yeah.
Reason enough.
We've got a signed Pride St. Louis Blues puck from
Jeff Finley?
2023. That is not Jeff Finley. Do you guys any other guesses who that might be?
Is that 11? Is that an 11?
It is a number 17
Oh, 17. You can't see.
Jaden Schwartz,
from 2023.
2023. Wait,
17, 2023.
why didn't we retire 17 after Schwartz left?
Oh, jeez. Let's not go there. That would be Josh Levo, folks.
Oh man. Okay.
We have got, and this is the prized one for me, a Puck Doku Uniqueness Zero shirt, which Bill and I both own.
Yes.
So that is one we'll be giving away, as well as, geez, what else do I got here? We got a koozie that you can wear as a necklace.
Nice.
Is that Brett Hall? Yeah, we were
That's-
Blues.
That's nice for a beer festival. You know.
We've got a Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead, which he is probably no longer a Cardinal, but still.
Collector's item.
And I think that's it. That is it.
I don't
cool.
think
We
we're
got a
giving
ton
all
of shit
this
here.
stuff away.
Are we going to give stickers away with all these items?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you also get Let's Go Blues radio stickers.
Yep.
Yeah, so again, for those of you that may have just tuned in, just comment. If we like it, one of us will call it out and we'll let you pick your prize. So we will keep that going throughout the show. Like I said, I'd like to give away at least about 5 or 6 of these things. So keep the conversation flowing.
The Tigers
into
have swept the
beers.
Astros. Hate to see it. Hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
it.
Oh, I got to turn on the City game. I forgot.
Wait,
the-
City's playing?
They're playing tonight?
Yeah, City's playing tonight. Yeah.
Serious? I was not.
Yeah,
paying
they're not
attention.
even playing Berkey, so it's like, should I even watch?
Well, they're out. So I mean,
Yeah, they started at 9:30. They're in.
Oh,
LA,
they
I
kicked-
believe.
Sporting
LA.
KC's ass.
Yeah, they did. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, so official beers of episode number 482. Remember, you can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Kurt is at CPrice12. I am at JPonner94. Bill is at Billy Blue Note 33. I want to say at the top of the segment here, RIP O'Fallon Brewery.
Yeah.
That sucked. I didn't know that happened. Bill, also, you're a liar because you said that you saw O'Fallon pumpkin beer last week. That's
Kurt-
impossible because they didn't brew any this
I
time
said
Kurt
around.
said it,
I-
and I played off of it.
I said that I made fun of you because last year it was all over the Illinois side and you couldn't find it on the Missouri side. So I said it in jest and you didn't catch on. So I just let it go.
All right. Well, you're both liars. So,
Yes, we are.
you know,
However-
like a
yes,
liar.
but unfortunately, seriously, as much as I hate to say it, because to me, we'll get to my beer in a second that I'm going to showcase, but that was the only pumpkin beer that I really liked outside of Pumpkin. I can't remember who brews that one, but that one's really good.
Pumpkin is
Southern
southern
Tier. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Those are the only two pumpkin beers I liked. So
Was there an O'Fallon beer that besides the pumpkin beer that you? Because I have always found O'Fallon. They were
did-
never anything I really sought out. You know, I don't know. Would
They
you have a
did
favorite from them?
the dad's oatmeal cookie ones.
Yeah, you
and,
know what?
like the cookie tin one.
Yeah. Oh, the
That was
cookie
good.
tin. I do. I might actually still have a vanilla wafer one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always went somewhere else for my beer. Maybe that's part of the problem why they kind
Yeah.
of went under. But
I thought the Naughty Pretzel was pretty good.
Yeah.
the Naughty Pretzel was good. Okay, there are some. Yeah, that was really good.
That was
Yeah.
a good one.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's a matter of it being, that St. Louis market's just oversaturated.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
with them going under and Urban Chestnut having to reorganize. It's I
That's
think
kinda
that's a telltale sign.
Well, that's kind of the thing with breweries all over the U.S. is that for a while there, they were popping up everywhere. Those
Mhm.
microbrews and stuff, and a lot of markets got oversaturated, and a lot are closing. And people like to blame the economy, but I mean, there's such a thing as oversaturating the market too. With
Mhm.
you get you way too many breweries, and the market can only hold so many, and then the less popular ones die off, and it's survival of the fittest. With this stuff.
I forget the order. Did we say Bill, Kurt, Jeff?
Let's do that.
That's what we did last
You know what we're
week.
gonna do?
Alphabetical.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna change it in our outline so that way it'll change every week.
Alphabetical. Yes.
Okay, Bill, what you got tonight?
All right, so my beer shtick, I'll explain it now for this season. We talked a little bit about it, but I have cellared a whole lot of beer and it's aging out. So I'm just gonna start grabbing stuff and seeing how it is.
How old is this one, Bill?
I don't know. This one doesn't have a date on it, but I am thinking it's probably 6 years. I grabbed
Say
it.
how long have you aged it is the real question.
Right. That's an even better question. So this one says ages very well. It's the Dogfish Head
WWS.
oak aged
Hmm.
vanilla worldwide stout. So
Well, there's your answer. You've aged it for oak years.
Yes, I think this is a 2018, maybe a 2017.
Okay.
And it's showing its age.
Is that right? What's the profile like, Bill?
Flat.
No bubbles for you?
Yeah, no bubbles. Little, yeah, it kind of tastes like oak.
Well, some of
rather
that bourbon
than
barrel
vanilla
aged stuff
stout.
doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't have a ton of carbonation, right?
No, it still has decent flavor, but definitely past its prime, and so probably be hearing that a lot from me this season.
All
Kind of
right.
Braden Shen, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, burn.
let's hope that's not true.
Curtis.
Oh, I got some beer that Amy picked up for a little birthday celebration last weekend. The Sam Adams Oktoberfest,
That's a good one.
which is quite
Can't
good.
go wrong. Cannot go wrong.
They've
quite
got
good.
a sampler pack that has that, the Jacko, just the regular Boston Lager, and is it the flannel?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that one's called, but That is a great pack to pick up
Yeah.
this time of year.
I need to get some of that cherry wheat. I haven't had that in a while. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
For me, so I, again, kind of talking about O'Fallon, again, not a big pumpkin beer guy. I just liked O'Fallon's and I like Pumpkin. I've got to find a new favorite now. So I went to Friar Tuck tonight and I picked out about 8 different pumpkin beers, and I'm going to
Yeesh.
try them all in the next couple weeks. So
Can try
I've
them
got
all tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try them all tonight. Yep. So I've got 3 here that I've got. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them, but my first one I've got from Bluewood Brewing, Dancing with the Pumpkin King. And my wife and I just watched. It's clearly a take on Nightmare Before Christmas. If you look at the can art, my wife and I just watched Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my favorite Halloween movies. So I thought that's a perfect one to start with.
Bluewood.
Then-
Bluewood. I think I want to say, and I always forget this, but I think Amy knows the owner of the Bluewood.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
They're in
Yep.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's not bad. I've already started it. But it does not replace O'Fallon. So I'm still on the hunt to replace O'Fallon. But I would not mind having another one of these. Next one I'm going to try is the pumpkin lager, which is interesting that it's literally
Pumpkin.
twice. Pumpkin.
Is it
It's
put
from
out by
Lakefront-
Little Caesars?
No.
Pumpkin.
It is from Lakefront Brewery, which is in Milwaukee. So we'll see how this one is next. And my last one that I've got tonight, which again, I don't know if I'll get to it, Shipyard Brewing Pumpkinhead. And this one is out of, I already forgot, Portland, Maine.
Okay.
So I will be trying at least one more of these tonight.
All right. You
And-
when you as you crack into them, if you happen to get to all 3, you'll need to let us know your rating. What would you rate that pumpkin beer? So if you're using O'Fallon beer, let's say O'Fallon beer for you, since it's your favorite, is a 10. Let's say it's a 9 in case one surpasses it. So put it, or you
We'll say
do your
9,
own
that
scale,
works.
but whatever you want to give it.
I want to do 3 to 7.
3 to 7. Okay.
No, we'll say 1 to 9. 9 being O'Fallon Original Pumpkin.
We'll do 1 to 10.
And okay, 10, right? Okay,
but
yeah,
just
10,
in case one
but yeah.
surpasses O'Fallon.
I agree. Okay, so
Figure
we'll say
skating
1 to 10. 9
theory.
is an O'Fallon Pumpkin. I would say the 1 is actually I think they had a s'mores pumpkin one from O'Fallon. I
Ooh.
put that one as a 1 because that was
Yeah,
awful.
I remember having that, and it wasn't as good.
It was terrible.
Yeah, and you can
I
go
couldn't
you can
even-
go
couldn't even
fractions. You know,
stomach it.
0.9.
Yeah.
point.
This one, I'll put it as a. Man, I really like Lakewood, but I'm gonna put it as a 5.
Okay.
So again, average. I would drink it again if it was put in front of me. I would even buy it, but not my favorite.
Okay.
So
You
we'll
know
see how it
what?
goes.
There's something else there's another 10 out there that I just can't put my finger on. I don't know what. 10. It's 10 p.m.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. It is 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
did that play for you guys? Cut off.
Oh.
Yeah, it's choppy as hell and cut off.
10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
There we
All
go.
right, that was better. There we go. Thank you, Cindy Lauper. Before we get to, there you go, Baked Beaver, Pabst 16 ounce here, per usual. Good call. Pabst, always a great beer. The hipster beer, which I was always upset about. I'm like, oh, come on. It's not just hipsters, it's Hoosiers too. I like it.
I think it's morphed into a hipster.
Yeah, it has. But before we move on, I do want to give Kurt 1 second, and I know that he normally doesn't like doing this on the show. I am wearing a 6. Is it just 60? Is that how it's
6-0.
pronounced?
6-0, yeah.
6-0.
Well, if you read it,
shirt.
the SIXZERO is 6-0.
Well, it says 6, and then it's got a 6.0, and
That's
then
their
it's
logo.
a 0.
That's our logo, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I am wearing a 6-0 pickleball shirt. Very comfortable. Very nice. But you can get a discount if you use Mr. Kurt Price, the ambassador, if you use his code. Tell us about that, Kurt.
Yeah, I am a 6-0 ambassador. So if you go to 60pickleball.com, you can get percentage off of paddles and equipment and apparel. C Price 10 10. is the promo code. So yeah, and they make good stuff. I don't know how many pickleball players are out there. It's pretty popular. I'm sure some people have played it, but yeah, check it out. This is 60pickleball.com. C price 10 is the code.
Very cool. Again, you need to tell them to do 12% and make it C price 12.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm special in terms of the other. I'd lynch mob outside my house.
What if I buy 100 more shirts? Would they change it to 12%?
Well, I would get quite the commission on that. I would thank you. I'd buy you a variety of pumpkin beers.
There you go. I knew the joke was coming. I like it. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's actually talk some hockey. 25 minutes in. So we've got a lot of training camp notes here. We don't need to go through them all. Keith Price, real quick, asked Kurt, is that a Belleville Bowling and Sporting Goods Blues jersey behind you?
Yes, on the 4-foot high Ninja Turtle behind me is wearing the very first Blues jersey I ever owned. Bought at Belleville Bowling and Sporting Goods back in, I don't even know, 86 or something. 87,
Nice.
probably.
It's got to be 87 because
Yeah,
86 was the Ruth Orness jerseys.
It's
well,
true.
this one is not one that it's like a alternate version. One, it's not an official jersey. It's got bigger holes in it, and it's
but it's close to what they started wearing in 87.
It's true. So
I want to give,
but it is that jersey.
just because I know Amy, and this is a funny comment because I know she does it all the time. I've played pickleball a few times. I'll check out that code. I want to give you a giveaway, but I don't think you're eligible. Sorry, Amy.
Everyone is ineligible. Jeff secretly wants to keep all these gifts.
Yes, they're all mine.
Nobody will say anything good enough for these prizes.
Yep. You got to really bring it tonight, folks.
Yeah, I know. I know what we're getting for Christmas, Bill, this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Bill's getting another Puck Doku shirt.
That's good because I somehow managed to stain the one that I got, and I want to clarify too. We didn't just buy them; we earned them. We both have gotten the unicorn.
Yep.
We've
Uniqueness of 0.
Yes.
I tell that to one of my group chats that I've hit 0 before, and they don't believe me. And I'm like, I literally have somebody who's seen it, and I have proof because we screenshot every single night that we do it. We screenshot and send it to each other. So, yeah, it's out there. Actual hockey talk, guys. Yay. So the Blues have obviously made a ton of moves in the past 2 weeks since training camp started. They've assigned a bunch of guys to junior teams. We're not going to go through the whole list here, but the notables for me, because I'm going to talk about them as we move down into preseason here in a second. Quentin Burns and Lucas Fisher have both been assigned. Released from their tryouts were goaltender David Tendick and forward Jake Gudej. I have no idea how to say his name. Returned to AHL, and these guys were released from their pro tryout. So what that means is they were never under contract with the Blues. They had a pro contract, a PTO, but their contract is with the Springfield Thunderbirds. Sam Bitten, Matthew Pekka, and Scott Harrington. And then a slew of players have been sent to the AHL.
Most notably, Dalibor
Dvorsky has been sent to the AHL.
Yeah, that was the name that there were a lot of people that had Dvorsky on this team on their out of camp. And when I saw those conversations, I'm like, man, kind of jumping the gun on him a little. I thought, he'll be here eventually, but I was like, coming over last year and playing well in the U.S. and actually putting up a lot of points when he didn't overseas. I think that turned a lot of heads over here, but he's no need to rush him. Right. So.
No, and I just would have liked to seen him get a full look, like one of the last to be sent down. But again, I'm not watching every single practice. I haven't even watched every preseason game. Maybe they just saw something in him and said, you know what? We know he's going to be in the AHL to start the year. We'll see how he does down there. Maybe he'll be one of the first call-ups.
I'd imagine he'd be down there the whole season.
Probably. I think
Yeah.
so too. So we'll see. I imagine he'll have a great year in the AHL, though. So it should be interesting
Hope
to track him and see how he does.
Hope
We'll
so.
have to check
Hopefully,
in with our friend Vanessa Graff throughout the year and see how he's doing.
hopefully he builds on his success last year, and then expectations for next camp, a little different story, I think. So
yeah. Another notable couple names. First of all, just because his name is fun to say, Jeremy Biakabatuka has been sent down.
It's a football name.
Love that name
Football
so
name.
much. His dad was a football player, right?
Yeah.
For Colorado, right? He played for Colorado.
I think so.
Biakabatuka.
Denver.
And then in the NHL. Yeah. Well,
other.
I mean, he college. I think it was Colorado.
Yeah.
I think it was it? No, I'm thinking Bieniemy. I'm not sure what college he played for.
Bieniemy was definitely Colorado.
He was Colorado. So who knows?
Other noticeable names. First of all, Dylan Peterson is a guy that was getting, I think, a lot of looks. He was sent down. Marcus Silvegaard, who I'm going to again talk about here in a preseason game in a minute. Mackenzie McEachern, which I know we're all upset about.
My notes here say can stay in Springfield all year as far as I'm concerned.
He's one of your, like, if you have a fourth line player go down, you call him up to be your 13th forward.
Sure.
That's the only time we'll see him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but you know what you're going to get with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be any better than he's been in the past with us, which is mid at best, right? So it's like,
I tell you what, every time he's called up and he actually plays, he usually has one or two good games and then he sucks. So I would say if you just want to call him up to be a spark plug for a game, I'm fine with that, but don't expect more from him than one game.
His name's on the Stanley Cup, though, right?
That's true. That is true.
I wonder if he said that. They're like, "Oh, you're never playing here again."
And of course, Nikita Alexandrov was sent down. Actually, I think that was today, but we will have more news on him later. So those are the big names. We'll talk more about who's remaining on the roster after our next break. But real quick, we've got the Blues have played in a bunch of preseason games. I've got 3. I think they've played in 5. So first of all, real quick, I just wanted to comment. The Blues lost Friday the 21st, their first game. They've lost a lot of games. I think they're 1-4. Yeah. Yep. They lost their first game to Dallas. The only thing I wanted to comment on, well, a couple things, but I watched this game. We talked to a new friend of the show, Matt DeFranks, and he brought up that in the prospect camp, Quentin Burns had a little bit of a rough time taking too many penalties. Yeah, he is a guy that needs to learn discipline. He took 9 penalty minutes in this game. Granted, 5 of those because he got in a fight. But there was a clear hold on him. It was either a hold or a hook. And just, I mean, again, he's a solid player, a good young defenseman, but this is a guy that's going to need some seasoning. So I'm glad to see they sent him back down to the AHL. Didn't give him much of a look, to be honest. I think it's just, kid, you got to work on hiding that shit a little better. So I don't know if you guys watched any of that game, but he was in the penalty box a lot.
How old is he?
He's young. He's 19, I believe.
19. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's got time to grow. We'll see. Sure. But also wanted to comment on the Joseph brothers, both played in this game. I thought they looked good and quick. I thought they brought a nice punch to the Blues lineup, both of them. They Matthew was doing a lot of forechecking. P.O. had some good hits behind the net and was taking guys out in front. So I like the way they looked. And the guy that I was kind of surprised didn't get more of a look, because I saw him play a couple times, was Marcus Silvegaard. He's a shooter, and I think that's what this team needs. He's a shooter. He knows how to put the puck on net, and he's very good at getting it on net, not just to the net or toward the net. I liked his game a lot, so I think he's a guy that we will see at some point this season get a call up.
Yeah, he wasn't he one of the late bloomers, undrafted signee out of Sweden?
Yep. Yeah, he was like the sniper they signed.
Yeah, the Steen touch is starting to take effect.
Yep. Yeah, and again, I do think he'll be like, if there's a top 6 forward that gets knocked out, gets hurt or suspended or whatever, I could see them even going with Silvegaard over Dvorsky this year, especially if it's a winger. So I think we will see him at some point this season. Saturday, the 22nd, they lost to the Utah Coyotes. First of all, I did think it was funny that Utah's first ever goal was an own goal, and the Blues called him out on it on social media. That was great.
Funny. That was funny.
It was awarded to Anton Malmstrom, who has since been sent down. In this game, Broberg actually played. Philip Broberg, the RFA fella, he played with Parayko in this game, and I thought he looked very comfortable. And again, this is preseason. Parayko did look like he was loafing it a little bit, which I don't blame him. He's a veteran. He doesn't need to go full steam in a preseason game. Well, Broberg was.
Yeah.
He was going very hard. I thought he played very solid defensive minutes and looked very good carrying the puck up the middle.
And I think Parayko's, it's an example, right? Parayko's play. The veterans, they're given like 70% or whatever. Preseason games, grain of salt stuff. You don't really necessarily care about the outcome. You're just looking at how players play. But even with the players, who aren't giving it their all, that's not even that kind of affects their line mates as far as, if they're busting their ass trying to make this team, and the line mates are playing with veterans who are kind of just going through the motions. It's like, how is that an accurate representation of their line mates if they're not having a guy who's pulling his weight on the line? So,
guys, I got good news. We've got our first giveaway. Congratulations to Knight Rider 027.
Just for the name alone.
Yes, he's talking about Mackenzie McEachern. He says, Mac is like that mid-fast food joint. It's good a couple times, then shit for a while until you need it again. So Knight Rider, I don't know if you saw, but I'm going to flash a couple up here and let me know what you're interested in getting. And reach out to us, social media, or radio at letsgoblues.com, and give us your address, and we'll be happy to send this to you. So let's see. We got a Ric Flair bobblehead.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
We've got an STL baseball cap.
Are you letting them choose? Are you letting them choose, or are you?
I'm letting them choose.
Okay.
We've got a koozie that goes around your neck with Brett Hull saying "We Win Blues."
It's pretty cool.
And I'll flash one more up here. Let's go with.
You need to put those in a better spot.
Yeah, I do. We've got the TJ Oshie towel that was a giveaway at a playoff game. So let us know which one you're interested in getting, and I will make sure that gets out to you. Thank you for commenting.
He's going to go bobblehead, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Ban
the woo. He said,
maybe
never
not.
mind. Maybe not.
Isn't there a Goldschmidt bobblehead in there, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there is.
Do I really need to flash all these every time we want to give
I don't
something
know.
away?
It's going to be a
Paul
long fucking
Goldschmidt
show if you do.
Bobblehead as well.
You should have taken a picture of them all and then just flash up the picture every so often.
That's a great idea.
I'm
Actually.
full
Maybe I'll
of
do that break.
full of something.
Yeah, you are full of something. All right, congratulations, Knight Rider 027. Let's move on. So also Dylan Holloway scored in his first official Blues goal on a great pass from Braden Shen on the power play. Nice one-touch backdoor pass. And they lost this game, like I said. I didn't watch the Columbus game Wednesday 9:25. They lost that one 3-0. Did you guys watch that game by chance?
No.
Nope. All right, we'll move on. Saturday, 9:28. They won this one 3-2 in an overtime win versus Chicago. Bedard did not play. My only note for this one: Dylan Holloway continues to look really good this preseason. He scored his second and third goal, the latter being the overtime winner.
How fun is it to see the players we stole from Edmonton being
Great
impact players, right? Blues fans should be super excited about Holloway and Broberg. Big upside for these guys, 23 years old, young, should fit in well here. Especially with Krug being out, got Broberg back there, and then, Doug Armstrong fucked over Edmonton, and Blues fans should be loving it.
Holloway is a guy that I don't know if you saw that interview he did. I think it was about a month ago now, where he seems really jazzed to be here, and he knows he's going to get a chance here, and he's taken advantage already in preseason.
Well, they moved him up to the top line in practice on Wednesday, right? So,
yep.
Yeah.
Bill, you seem like you had something to
Sorry.
say.
You okay?
I do, but I need some water.
Get some water.
No, I think like what I'm excited about Holloway is, and we'll talk about this when we get to the to the prognostications for the season, but I like that he may actually take a little bit of pressure off of Jake Neighbors to repeat last season.
Yep, that's true. Knight Rider, I want to reiterate, please in the chat, tell me of all the giveaways you saw, what you want. That way I can put it aside and we don't give it to someone else. But your address, please send to us privately. And then Tuesday
Swap
on
yourself.
10th. Yes. Tuesday on October 1st, they did play the Blue Jackets here at home. They lost that one. I didn't put it in the notes. I think they lost 3-1.
We lost the Blue Jackets in preseason last year.
We did.
Bad.
We play them every year in the
Yeah.
preseason, which is weird because they're an Eastern team.
Is there
But
a
it's
team
such a close drive.
Yeah, it is.
Is there a team in the NHL that you guys care about less? Maybe I'm like on an island here. I don't give a shit about like preseason games against Columbus. Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
No. And
Or could care
again,
less.
we're talking about how great Dylan Holloway's looked. I don't know if you guys remember who really, really looked good about, I think it was 2 seasons ago, Logan Brown. So
Yeah.
that goes to tell you. Again, I
Just
think
shows to go,
Dylan
yeah.
Holloway's got a much, much better chance of succeeding in the regular season, but there is some be careful what you see in preseason. It doesn't always translate.
Well, this wasn't a good game. And Bannister said after the game he felt like the team took a step backwards in this game.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's preseason, like I said, is I don't care about the score necessarily. It's more about how the young kids play. I mean, it's to be honest, you're just trying to get legs in game situations under players who are definitely on this roster. Otherwise, so
yep, agree. So next quick note we'll get to before our break. The Blues did announce 2 new in-game hosts, Reagan Deshane and Draco Craig. Reagan began her career with the St. Louis Cardinals team Fredbird, and Draco was with St. Louis University basketball. So the 2 people we saw, which I don't even remember their names,
Team
the last
Fredbird?
couple years, they're gone, which I'm okay with. What?
Team Fredbird, is that the girls that dance on top of the dugout?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a
Team
career
Fredbird.
there.
Did she jump straight from that to the?
No, that's where she started.
Okay. I was gonna say
since.
there's probably stepping stones between that job. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So again, I don't know much about these 2, but I agree with the sentiment that I saw on social media a ton. This is the Blues in-game presentation staff just trying to find a replacement for Angela Sharp, which they have not done yet. So
they've had
I
some
agree
losers.
with that sentiment.
They've had some. I wouldn't say losers. They've had some duds.
What they've got going for them is their name's not Patrico.
That's true.
They've had some duds, haven't they? Had some just cheesy, fake. Yeah, ever since Angela, everything's always seemed cheesy, fake, and forced. Yeah. When Angela did it, it seemed genuine, right? I mean, she loved doing it. She knew her stuff. She was a Blues fan. It was I don't know. I don't know. There's the backstory is interesting with that, but it's like she got screwed.
Yeah, agree. And I just think again, this is the Blues saying we have not found a proper replacement for Angela Sharp, when really the replacement for Angela Sharp has been there all along. Angela fucking Sharp.
And I'm from what she's always said, it seems like she would take the job back if it was offered to her. So come on, guys.
Well, she's come on here before and talked about how it's basically one person was the one that kept her from taking or staying with the job. So hopefully that one person is fucking gone soon, because we all want Angela back.
Yeah, I mean, she did diss me in a Cardinals game, so I'm not going to fight for it too hard.
Not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Damn. Okay.
All right, guys. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from our fabulous sponsors. When we get back, it is all season preview time. You're listening to Jeff, Kurt, and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the pedal down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Put past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
Well, honey, I just priced the power washing for the house, and I think we should just move and condemn this place. It'll be cheaper.
Did you try Wolf Power Washing?
Who?
Oh, I just saw this guy win the Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament and thought he was attractive, so I looked him up on social media, and it turns out he's the owner and proprietor of Wolf Power Washing. He claims he has the best prices in town.
But does he use non-flammable, non-toxic chemicals that are safe for Wolfie and our son, little Magnus?
Yes, he ensures there'll be no residue left behind, and he doesn't use any volatile vapors.
Well, this fella sounds like a dream. I just wish I knew how to contact him.
Oh, I know how. You can reach him at 314-420-5434.
314-420-5434, and his name is Joe Wolf of Wolf Power Washing?
That's right.
But how did you know his number so quickly?
I'll never tell.
Wait, what?
That's Wolf Power Washing at 314-420-5434. And make sure to tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
Well, I again want to thank our fabulous sponsors. We know for a fact that we've got Mike Burgoyne returning for the upcoming season, and we'll have more news on it next week. But as you see, if you're watching the video, Rockin' That ID Life is also returning, our friend Dustin Paul. So we will be happy to welcome back next week officially. But we wanted to give him a freebie week to, have his logo up.
He's back into it. Yeah.
Yep. And Burgoyne, Joe Wolf, we are still negotiating, so we will see. But either way, thank you to Joe and Mike for sponsoring us all summer. It was a fun summer. We had some great shows, and I hope they benefited greatly. So, getting into some quick news from the past week, the Blues did sign Nikita Alexandrov to a 1-year, 2-way contract extension. It pays him $775,000 at the NHL level. Maybe we did. I don't know. I feel like I talked about it with somebody that I did not know you could be on a PTO when you're an RFA and unsigned. And apparently you can. So he was on a PTO because he just wanted to be a part of training camp. So he had to wait for the team to drop below 50 contracts, which would players move back to juniors. That was the case. But he was also assigned to the AHL on Tuesday. But I just like that he wanted to be a part of training camp.
It seems like
without a contract.
It seems like something that it seems like a no-brainer for him because he doesn't have a given spot on this team by any means. And so, I mean, it's to his benefit to do the PTO and wait for that spot to open up so he can then sign and get moved down. I mean, otherwise, he's not here. So
yeah.
I think Alexandrov, I think this is probably his last chance with St. Louis with this 1-year contract, right? So he's when he first came up, I think we all kind of liked what we saw and what he could be, and it never really developed into that. But this 1-year the 1-year 2-way contract, hopefully he gets enough of a look this season to make it an easy decision one way or the other for the team, whether or not they want to sign him long term or just let him go. So,
yeah,
I
I said
go
my
ahead, Bill.
goodbyes to him after last season. I don't know. You did mention that at the beginning of the Mystery Hockey Theater last week. You brought that up. But as our mentor Wayne from Letterkenny says, it's almost not worth thinking about.
Yeah, I like Alexandrov, and I don't know, you guys may disagree. I know I have a strong hatred for a certain player. Give me Alexandrov over Kapanen all day.
Yeah.
But at this point, with the depth of this roster, I think a bottom 6 role again pops up. You got a couple options. I think Alexandrov's right there to be considered for a call up. But if it comes down to, even like a Brandon Saad or a Braden Shen gets hurt, you're not calling up Alexandrov. You're calling up Dvorsky, Silvegaard, someone like that.
You think
Alexandrov's
yeah, I don't know if you play Dvorsky on the fourth line though. I mean, depending on what spot's available.
But guys will shift up, I think.
Yeah.
I think if it's
maybe.
a bottom 6 player that comes down or goes down with an injury, I think it's another bottom 6 player comes up for this team. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Yeah.
But because that's just the way I feel like this organization's always kind of operated under Armstrong. So, but we'll see. Maybe Bannister has different thoughts.
It wouldn't make any sense for Dvorsky to play on the fourth line. I think it's a waste of minutes for him. I mean, he's got to be a top 6 guy at worst, third line, right? I mean, a little bit. You're not going to get. That's not going to be his role on this team. It seems like a waste of time to put him down there.
Right. No, and I thought that was kind of the brilliance of sending him down early, right? Is you're not going to crack top 6, and we're not going to pull the Ken Hitchcock, Craig Berube bullshit of you got to earn your way up off that fourth line, right? Let him go down there, let him eat up top 6 minutes, and be ready when he needs a call up for a top 6 role here. The one big thing we did in this offseason was add a lot more bottom 6 depth so that we don't have to force talented players to earn their chops. Mucking on.
We're going to talk about some projections from the moron over at The Athletic later. And yeah, basically, let's just put it like this. A lot of his projections are 100% based off what this team looked like last year because of their bottom 6 depth. And I'm like, that has all been revamped, all of it. So to go off last year at all for their bottom 6 depth is ridiculous.
But really, you shouldn't talk about JR like that.
Oh, never. I would never. I love JR. How dare you? I was going to mention if anybody has joined, I'll only mention this maybe one more time throughout the show. We are giving stuff away. So if you have comments that you want to throw in the chat about what we're talking about or anything Blues related or whatever, please do. We will call out the comment and I'll give you options on what you get to receive. So just
please rewind to about 15 minutes of the YouTube video and Jeff goes through all of them.
Right.
I do. But you don't have to do that. If you just say something funny, I will pull a couple items and let you pick one of those. So there you go. Oh, wow. Celtic Warrior.
Is that what you were looking at?
Flash Billy Boy. Blues. Yep. Blues might be picking lottery draft next year. 100% disagree.
I doubt that.
No. They're going to finish to me at.
You want to bet a milkshake on that, Mr. Celtic Warrior? Because
I think at worst, they are going to finish where they finished last season.
Yeah, I think that's fringe playoff team, possibly, could swing a little farther either way, based on how things go, injuries or whatever. But yeah, lottery team, that's
well, again,
level crazy right there.
We'll talk about our favorite, and let's use air quotes, favorite writer over at The Athletic. And again, a bit because, yeah, he shares your sentiment, and we will disagree.
Dom Lush alphabet.
Yeah. Dom Lal just not going to work here anymore.
All the letters. All the letters.
Oh, Celtic Warrior. I like that. Bet a Guinness instead. There you go.
Is that legal? Can we do that? I guess we can. Where you located? Celtic, I guess probably.
I'm going to say Celtic.
Celtic, yeah.
Because technically that word is Celtic. The Boston Celtics are idiots.
Are you in the St. Louis area? Because I'll take that bet, and we can settle up at McGurk's if you'd like. So
that's a great call.
Yeah.
Can I come?
Sure.
No.
Oh, okay. Bill says no. I got to listen to him. He's my boss.
Krug being out for the year is not was that? I mean, I'm just kind of like cherry picking comments here in the chat, but Celtic Warrior says Krug being out for the year. I guess that's one of the reasons why the Blues might be a lottery pick for him. But
he doesn't make or break this team.
No, he was.
I think Broberg is at the very least what Krug was last year. So
we're mowing our own lawns here, boys.
House Springs, Ireland.
Wait, he's in Ireland?
No, House Springs.
I'd have to Venmo you some money for a pint over in Ireland.
No, if he's in House Springs via Ireland.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, that's why he's Celtic Warrior. Okay, I get it.
Gotcha.
So you're not Jason Tatum. We've got that clear.
We're all a little slow here. Let's go Blues Radio. We're all a little slow here. We've taken a lot of pucks to the head between the three of us. So
no,
and because of some of us.
He's not that. He's not that far. I mean,
isn't House Springs near Kansas City?
No.
It's like Pacific area, right?
South of
that's
Fenton.
right. I'm thinking of Blue Springs. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see. Brandon Saad could miss the season opening trip for the Blues. They say he could miss it because his wife is expected to deliver their third child at that time. He says, quote, depending on how things go, obviously, I'm sorry, this is from Drew Bannister, Blues head coach. Depending on how things go, obviously, he might not be available for us. The first 3 games of the road trip will go in a different direction now in training camp with our lines as if he wasn't able to play for us. So, yeah, it's sounding like this is right around when she's going to give birth. My question is, it's your third kid. Do you really need to be there? I'm kidding. But I know there are Blues fans that have said that.
Oh,
they always say that.
For sure. Yeah. Now a playoff game is usually players miss playoff games for having kids and stuff, which there's
100%.
It makes you take a step back and think, okay, what's really important for players? I mean, it's a job.
The only time that I might say
final game?
Game 7 Stanley Cup final.
Oh, I would say any cup final game where it's like, if I'm the player, I can see where it would be a very tough decision for the player to miss a game in the final.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, that might be a once in a lifetime thing. Granted, the birth is also, but that's tough. The player wants to be there, but wants to be in both places, right? Sometimes the player shows up.
Why don't they just have the
baby
starts in the bowels of the arena? That's the way to do it.
Right.
Don't players know that they're supposed to time these things?
Yeah. What are you doing having a baby in October, dummy?
At least it's not, start of the season. It's not a big deal. But,
who accidentally has a kid?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I did.
Oops.
And it was the best accident of my life.
Sure. Yeah. I think most people feel that way. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's get into the actual season preview here, guys. Currently on this roster, typically we try to preview the season like right before the first game of the year. But with the first game of the year being on a Tuesday at 2:30, it was hard to do that. So we said, you know what? Let's just do it now. So we do still have some cuts that need to be made with this roster. Currently, there are 31 players on the roster. They have to be down to a 23-man roster by opening night. That is 8 spots. Currently, they have 16 forwards, 12 defensemen, and 3 goalies. I think there are 2 that we can go ahead and count on not being on the opening night roster. That is goalie Vadim Zherenko. Not that he's had a bad camp. He's actually looked really, really good. But you're not sending down Bennington or Hofer. So sorry, Zherenko. And then obviously Torrey Krug is going on long-term IR. So both of those, so that leaves 6 spots.
Do you know what's going to happen? If Zherenko looks looks good in camp and plays good for the Thunderbirds this season, you're going to have people wanting Binnington traded.
Yes.
Again, it's
100%.
just the way people, they want to trade the more expensive and bring up the younger, and no matter what that means for the team. So, especially if the team is not, they're outside looking in. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Same folks that want Dvorsky here right now.
Yeah, I think it's funny that those conversations have always happened. Always, it's people are never happy. They always want to be moving out the veterans, bringing up the kids. No matter how, moving the veteran out, bring the kids up. If we're not a cup contender, if we are not a legit cup contender, get rid of the expensive guys, bring up the kids. And to me, it's a case by case basis with every one of them. Like, but the blanket statement with over just decades of being a Blues fan, it's like, man, that's just a tired, recycled philosophy with people. It's just I don't know. It's a weird mindset to be in.
Right, and that's the thing. I think you just get addicted to having that hope for the future all the time, and
Right.
this one's going to be the one that gets us over the line, right? Jason Bakashua, he is the future in goal in St. Louis.
Kind of wish he would have been. He had a great last name.
Chris Beckford Sue will one day lead the Blues to victory.
I never had the confidence in him.
No, I didn't.
Bakashua, I did.
The hyphenator.
I thought, Bakashua, the hyphenator. Bakashua, I was rooting for hard.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We've got another. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Baked Beaver. You are ineligible because you've known me forever. I'm kidding. Baked Beaver, you are our next recipient of a giveaway. I loved his comment here. It actually made me laugh. So we were talking to Celtic Warrior about where he lived, and he said Jefferson County. And then Baked Beaver says, I'm in Jefferson County too, Colorado, though. And Celtic Warrior says, Baker, Avs fan, eh?
Mm.
And I just loved his response here. His name, again, is the Baked Beaver. He says, it's Beaver. I'm just baked. And fuck no, I bleed blue. I don't know why. That just caught my funny bone. I love the response. You are our next winner of a giveaway. We got Mason Maccabee. Bill, you played against that fella.
I surely did. There's content on the internet of me being scored on after a fall down pass by Mr. Maccabee.
Big Beaver. So I'm going to flash a couple up here. We got a Ric Flair bobblehead. We've got a Puck Doku Uniqueness 0 shirt. We've got
Must Be Earned.
An STL. Yeah, must be earned. Yeah.
Is that
STL hat.
Is that a St. Louis U collab?
No, this was a Cardinals giveaway, actually.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't a St. Louis U collab or anything? No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's just for St. Louis.
I know, but okay.
And let's see. You're a male, so we'll go with the koozie that is attached, so you can literally wear it around your head, and it's got Brett Hall on it.
Maybe he wants a
Those
purse
are your
for
options.
his significant other.
A purse.
Oh my God!
You never...
We really need to show every giveaway here.
No,
you know
we
what?
don't.
Actually, I forgot I did this. Hang on. There you go.
You do have a picture.
I put it up here while we were on break. Yeah. I took this earlier. So there's also a Josh Levo signed puck, a Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead, and then a little carry bag there for it's a black and white Blues one.
Do we know which one is gone already from the previous?
It is gone. Yes. The TJ Oshie towel has been taken.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. Goldschmidt bobblehead year was this year. This was a giveaway from the Cardinals this season. So yeah, go ahead and post. Don't give us your address yet. Give that to, actually, you have my number. Just text me your address and let me know in the chat here which giveaway you want. All right, so let's move on.
Goldie Bubblehead.
So battling for spots for the Blues right now. Again, 6 spots technically left. They're going to have to move 6 players down. Right now, forwards, you've got Bolduc, Dean, Matthew Joseph, Kapanen, and Nathan Walker still up with the club. So they're all battling for forward spots. Defensively, they still have Juracek up, which I was actually surprised to see. So they must love something in him. P.O. Joseph, as well as Perunovic, Corey Schooneman, Ryan Suter, and Tyler Tucker. You guys want to make any claims on who you think is definitely going down?
I'll say I hope Bolduc does not.
Right.
I don't care about his camp. I really don't. What I saw last year,
scoring.
He's a shooter, and he's got a great one-timer. So, and that's something this team needs. I think I'd love to see him. I don't care if he's having an off camp. Do not care whatsoever. I don't care how Kapanen's camp is. I hope he does not make this team. At best, I hope he's in the press box. Yeah, I think Dean goes down. I think Bolduc stays. You're pulling for Walker, right? Who doesn't like Walker?
Yeah. Yeah, when we were discussing you have the fourth line problem, you don't bring up Dvorsky. Like, I'd rather have Walker here the whole time. And
yeah,
but if he has to go down, he's got to be the first fourth line call up.
Yeah, I love Walker, and they was that last year they sent him down,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, okay, interesting, and then he came up, and all of a sudden he was a big spark plug on the team again.
Mm-hmm. Right,
and so I'm with you. I think you got to keep Walker up. He's proven himself here.
Right, he might have bought Berube some time.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple interesting people on the forward core, and I think it's interesting with Suter on defense. I think it's interesting with Perunovic. I think Perunovic has to play. Perunovic has to. I think this is his make or break season, right? He's got 1 year left on his contract. And I think he needs to be more of an impact player, especially on the power play. He's got the skills, got the talent. He's just got to convert that into production, right?
Yeah.
More often. So I think he needs to get playing time, though, at least to start the season and for a bunch of games, 20, 30 games, before you start messing with giving him healthy scratches and stuff if he's not playing well. Because I think you have to give him a full shot of the season, because if you don't, what do you do with him at the end of the season? Do you extend him? If he's not playing half the time, or if he's not, you're not going to. So I think you need to give him a good look.
Yeah, no, I honestly would not be surprised if he's not in, they're not willing to give him that kind of opportunity, if they just don't waive him at this point.
And he would be taken in a second,
in a heartbeat. Minnesota would be all over him real fast.
And that's why you have to give him every opportunity to show what he can do and get him more and more games. Because if they do end up waiving him later on and he takes off with another team, that's a missed opportunity with it's Wallman 2.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the guy we got rid of. It just pisses you off when you're looking for a good defenseman. You'd hate to see him excel somewhere else when he just didn't get that enough of a look here when you had the opportunity to in last year of a contract. Tyler Tucker, I want to see not up here.
Yep, 100%.
I want to see him moved if possible. To be
quite
honest.
Yes.
If any other team sees value in him, take a puck bag or a 7th round pick for him.
Yeah. A washing machine, right? Like in semi-pro. We'll take the washing machine. No, again, great story in Tyler Tucker. Him being a 7th round pick, working his way up in the Blues ranks, but to me, just does not have the foot speed or the wherewithal to be an NHL defenseman. So I'm fine with him either being put on waivers or traded or just buried in the AHL, whatever you need to do. I just don't think he's an NHL defenseman at this point.
He's a less skilled Garth Butcher.
Oh man. Woo. So he's not captain material, huh?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think you need to offer Kurt one of your giveaways at this point. That's comment of the show right there.
Ineligible. Okay, so my 6 that I think are getting sent, and somebody brought up a good point. Oh boy, let me look it up real quick. Who was it? Here it is. Divide by 0. I forgot. Good call. Does having Juracek up allow them to supervise his rehab? Yes, 100%. I forgot that he is hurt, so that is why he is still here. I bet he'll be here until his rehab is over. So expect to see him be put on injury reserve the minute they have to do that. I think the guys that are going to be sent down, obviously Juracek when that happens. I think Kapanen has to be the guy. I mean, and it's not even because I don't like him. It's just you look at the talent that's left. I just think he's one of the lesser forwards. So you don't need him on this roster. I do think it's going to be, obviously, I think Schoeneman's going. Tucker definitely needs to go. People aren't going to like it, but I think Dean is a guy that's going to be sent down.
I think that's an easy decision. Well, based on last season, I didn't think he belonged last season. I thought he was lost out there at times. So
I thought he got better as the season went.
I agree with Jeff. I thought
maybe his earlier play is sticking with me, but I was not. I didn't see enough from him last season to warrant giving him a spot this season. But
Yeah,
So
I totally expected him to score in that Ottawa game with as much as they were hyping him. 'Cause
Yes.
he was basically playing at home. But yeah, I don't think he makes this team, but I don't think he's not that far off. But I think he needs another full year of seasoning in the A, and then we're probably having the same
him and
conversation
Dvorsky next year.
Yeah. Well, I think we're having the same conversation we're having as Perunovic, right? He's a guy that we got him in the Barbashev trade. We expected a lot out of him, and he's just a little bit more slow developing. But I with as much with as many bodies as they brought in on the lower end of this roster, he was the first guy I thought was the odd man out and had to be down in the A this season.
Who are you guys like pulling for the hardest? Who do you want to see make the team or who do you want to see achieve their potential the most out of these players that we're talking about right now? Bolduc.
Yep, Bolduc.
I think he's got the highest upside.
And
I think I'm going to go. I mean, it's very close, but I'm going to go Perunovic just because I think even though we need the scoring up front, but I don't know. Perunovic seems like a guy that he has all the tools to be a point producer on the power play on defense, and he just hasn't quite done it yet. I don't know if he's gotten the opportunities on the power play like he probably should be, but that's my guy.
Go back to the Colorado series 2 years ago, right? He ran that power play and he was effective, right? He's not as good as McCarr, but he was as good as Bowen Byram in that respect. And we were so close, and had Bennington not gotten injured, I think we upset them in the first round. Right. And at this point, Perunovic is a shoe-in to be on this team, but didn't happen. And last year, was, another, hey, let's give Tyler Tucker a real shot. And Perunovic has got to beat him out. And
I truly believe the only reason Tucker didn't get sent down is because he'd have to go through waivers. I think after they realized that Perunovic was the better defenseman, which I hate to say it, this show was saying that all season. That I think they were like, man, we need to send him down, but we just were afraid to put him through waivers, which I think we all said at different points on the show. You don't need to worry about that.
If he's taken, that's not a big deal
anywhere,
right? But I think that was to placate Berube, because he was a Berube kind of guy, right?
He was.
Berube needs a big muscular lunkhead that's going to fight. And hopefully Bannister's not that guy.
Well, they're gonna.
I
would hope he gets sent down when a bunch of other teams are sending players down for their final round of cuts, and he's kind of gets. I mean, if someone wants to, they're surely if somebody wants somebody on their team to pluck somebody, which doesn't happen that often. Tucker's not the top candidate, right?
And that's the perfect time to do it. And people always forget this when they have that waiver period that guys get buried in there
Mhm.
because there's so many guys going through waivers. And think about the fact, again, the thing that people I think forget about is if you take someone off waivers, they have to be on your 23-man NHL roster.
And you have to
What
lose. You have to
NHL
ditch somebody
team-
off your current roster. You
Right.
can't.
And
Yeah.
what,
You have to,
what NHL team is like, we got to have Tyler Tucker on our NHL roster? Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, that
Right.
team doesn't exist.
What? How many? Like 13 people went through waivers yesterday, and one got taken. Boston took somebody from Vancouver, and it's a numbers game, and yeah, it's you really shouldn't be worried about that.
That's the thing too. Is if you take somebody off waivers, you have to put somebody on waivers.
Mm-hmm.
You have to release somebody. So and like you said, Jeff, they have to stay on your roster.
Yep.
So I mean,
unless there's a late injury situation that you're able to maneuver that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we're wrong, and maybe Tucker has a breakout season, and he proves us all wrong. But I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
I don't either. Again, my problem is his foot speed. Nine times out of 10, he's getting. It's rare you see guys literally get walked.
Yeah,
over and over, and we saw him get walked a ton last season.
And for as tough as he is, he's not that great defensively. I just
No.
I don't know. I don't see it.
But he also he was also our leading goal scorer after our first game last year.
That's true.
That's
That is true. I remember a prominent Blues Twitter personality saying that by the end of the season, Tyler Tucker would be our best left-handed defenseman.
And you don't want to say who that is? I don't remember that. Prominent Twitter personality?
Because I remember us just
Put it in the
being
private
like,
chat.
"What?"
Put it in the private chat. I don't know who that is. I won't say. Oh man, I want to say. He said that really?
Took that off.
He said that really?
I'll have to find the tweet,
man,
because we mentioned it on the show.
Prominent, but not well versed.
He's not.
That's a great point.
When you said prominent,
he's got a corner of. He's got a corner of Blues Nation. So
I never understood that. Anyway, I don't know.
We'll talk. We'll talk off air.
All right.
So early projections. Let's talk about this. So the Athletic has obviously we talk about this every year. I don't know why we do this, why we put ourselves through this, but we do it anyway. I guess just because it's good banter. We've got
we're all subscribers.
That's true. We had the early projections come out for every team, and the Blues obviously were no different from anyone else. They put that out. And yes, sorry, real quick, Mason Maccabee in the chat. You do. I know for a fact you know who that is that we're talking about. So because we have talked about this person. So locker room talk stays between us. So in the Athletic,
I talk.
Dom Dumbass, Sean Gentile, and Shayna Goldman all collaborated on this article. But if you read it, it has the Dom undertone that we all know and love on this show. So his point projection for the Blues is 11 points less than they finished last season, 81.8, 10% chance of making the playoffs, which he also adds a 0% of winning the Stanley Cup, which is always hilarious to me because, I'm sorry, the Utah Coyotes have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Like, you're telling me the Blues have 0? Okay. 0% chance of winning the division as well. And then he gives them zeros on the Cup final and the conference final as well. Again, stupid numbers that he goes by because he's got a model that he's got to go off of that never seems to pan out. But for some reason, every year he sticks by it.
Last year, his model, I remember it was in the very low 80s.
Right. It was almost the same as it is this year.
And they had 92 points last season. They exceeded his model's expectations by when you're off by like 12 points, that's a lot for a hockey team in a season. So his model missed big time for the Blues. And I don't know. I mean, his model is, we talk about him almost every week. It seems like it's because it's just his model's constantly off. with the Blues and with other teams.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, whatever. I don't know what to say. It's always the same thing. It's lather, rinse, repeat, right? With
Exactly.
Dom.
Okay, so I never comment on the Athletic articles ever. I think I've literally commented maybe 3 times. Today was one of those times. I did actually comment because I literally said, because he calls it out here. I'm actually, let me read from the article. They had a better record than expected, talking about last season, but one that felt like a mirage.
It's always a mirage.
It's always a mirage
Every
with
year.
the Blues with him because they don't fit into his goddamn model that he refuses to change. So then he adds St. Louis being bottom 3 in expected goals percentage at 5-on-5 during a career year from Jordan Binnington probably isn't a recipe for sustainable success. Going into 2024-25, the model is doubling down on the Blues not having much of a playoff shot. Their projection lands right around 82 points with a 1 in 10 chance of making the postseason. So my point on this is you're basically admitting for like the 6th season in a row that the model doesn't project well for the Blues. It never, ever matches, but you're going right back to it. It's the same goddamn model that doesn't seem to fucking work.
My issue with his reasoning for this, he says St. Louis being a bottom 3 in expected goals percentage at 5-on-5 and a career year from Jordan Binnington. He's saying that, well, St. Louis is a bottom 3 in expected goals percentage at 5-on-5. And then, but so he doesn't think Binnington's going to have the same kind of season this year, but he thinks the offense is going to do the same. So he takes the high the Blues had, and he says, nope, that's going to regress. And he takes the low the Blues had, and he says, that's going to stay the same. Why? Why can't the low come back to the middle? Well, that's the worst is always going to stay worse, and the best is always going to regress back. That makes no sense to me.
I saw somebody with a Stars logo as their like avatar say, "There's Dom mad at the Blues for 2019 again."
Yep.
Like even other teams are like, "Dude, you hate the Blues. Just admit it."
And I don't want to. And he doesn't. Somebody else in the comments pointed out, right? He doesn't even get into the replacement. Broberg over Krug, right?
Right.
Krug was injured. Falk was injured. Right. We have a old and middling defense, but it's expected to be better this year. Right. It's a new system. We have a full year, a full training camp under a new coach. But it's like his whole approach was to double down on betting against the team.
Yep.
I hate that.
I love this comment again from my friend Mason Maccabee. Says, I can't read any Dom articles anymore because I get the angry shakes. 100%. Yes. This is literally the only Dom article I read every year, and I only do it because of this show. If it wasn't for this show, I wouldn't touch a thing Dom writes.
It's absurd. I don't have anything new to add to it. I'm just going to double down on it. I'm still just kind of working, and I'm not predicting I don't think the Blues are going to be this great team this season. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, he's saying we're going to suck or we're going to be great. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it's just the same thing every year with him and his model and the Blues, and it never matches up. And every year it's the same thing. It's like, well, last year they exceeded expectations because of this and this, but their highs last year are bound to come down, and their lows last year, well, they're going to stay low. That's just. I don't know why. There's a word for that. It's got to be. I don't know what it is, but it's ridiculous.
Insanity.
I don't know. Cherry picking what he thinks are anomalies. And what. So he's saying some things that, like, one extreme is an anomaly and another extreme is a constant, and there's no. I don't understand that.
Big Beaver says, I don't trust most articles or podcast opinions. I like folks that are realistic. That, you know what? I agree. I love what we do here on this show. I listen to other hockey podcasts. I don't listen to other Blues podcasts. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I just can't trust your opinion. I just don't agree with it. And Dom especially, and again, I hate to get in this debate. I'm not trying to open up a can of worms here because we've talked about this a million times. The analytics crowd. If you read this article, and that's the most frustrating thing for me, there's never, their breakouts looked better this season, or their defensive structure looked better. It's, they were 15th worst in this analytics category. And, the Blues, they need to get more zone time. And it's like, give me like actual hockey analysis too. Like, give me both.
Right.
Don't just give me one.
The closest thing they got to actual analysis was Jake Neighbors and his shooting percentage.
Yes.
Right. But again, it was predicated on an advanced stat. Right. He shot 18.9%. Can't expect that to happen again. But then the other part to that, and this is what I was, getting at earlier, Dylan Holloway, he's not going to be there to replace Neighbors on the top line, but he's going to take pressure off of him, right? He's Neighbors is a heart and soul guy that plays the game the right way, right? All the old Canadian good boy cliches, and he found success last year. And having a guy like Holloway on this roster is going to take pressure off of him from doing other things. And if he can focus on being that net front guy and, being in the right place at the right time on one of the top two lines, he is going to produce at a similar clip to last year. I think he'll balance out between goals and assists, right? He only had 11 assists last year. I think, whoever's on that top line with him is probably going to, I think Kairu's got more goals than him this year. Right. And if that's if he's out there with Tomer and Kairu, I think he's going to get more assists to balance off the goals he's not going to get. But
I want to see, and I know that one member of our show hates when I bring this guy up, but Ken Hitchcock used to talk about he had pairs on offense. Yeah. I kind of want to see that this season. I want to see like Thomas and Buchnevich stick together, and I want to see Kairu and Neighbors stay together, because Kairu gets the puck to the net. Give Neighbors all the chance in the world to tip those pucks in or get rebounds. Maybe, and I liked Kairu with Shen last year when that happened. Give me that. I want to see it. Maybe try Holloway on that top line with Buchnevich and Thomas. But either way, I agree with you. I think Neighbors, his assists will even out a little bit. But I think the reason why he got so many goals was net front presence.
It was, yeah.
But eventually, teams are going to start boxing him out better, so he's going to start having to move the puck more, and I think we're going to see that more this season.
I mean, Cicerelli scored 600 goals with net front presence. So I mean, it's some guys are just good at it, and you have a hard time stopping them. We'll see if Neighbors can continue it this season, and I think with Dom's model and stuff. And I just want to say, advanced stats are great. I like them. I love them. I look at them. We talk about them on the show. But only using advanced stats when you do these things, and your computers use advanced stats only, right? Computers aren't watching games. That's incomplete analysis. It's just, I mean, there's not, that's a one-dimensional look at a player or a team. You've got to morph that together with what you're seeing. To me, that's complete analysis.
So let's move on a little bit, talking about more of this article. He says, quote, Binnington was amazing last season, which I'm glad to see people finally admitting that he had a good year, finishing second behind Connor Hellebuck in goals saved above expected, but he was also 15th worst in the stat the season prior. His lack of consistency makes him difficult to depend on. The Blues getting the good or bad version of Binnington could be the difference between fighting for a playoff spot and fighting for a lottery spot. I know what you're going to say, Kurt.
Well, what if we
exact same way?
What have we said about Binnington in years when his numbers weren't great? He played well.
He played well, but the defense was so bad.
Yeah. And it wasn't being reflected in the advanced. You could watch the games. By watching the games, you're like, he's he's getting fucked over by his defense. He can't.
I have harped on this over and over, but I go back. It would have been Halloween. I want to say 2022, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it would have been 2022. Halloween 2022, they played the LA Kings, and he faced 4 backdoor chances in about 45 seconds. And again, I remember it specifically because I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, like I'm losing my mind.
That was
and
a
he
problem
made
that
3
year.
saves.
That was a big problem.
He made 3 saves on those 4 backdoor chances.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife just looking at me going, are you really going to ruin Halloween because you have to watch the Blues game? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm turning it off because that's how that season was, because that was Mike Van Ryn defense. They didn't play the body. They didn't block shots. They didn't clear passing lanes. It was all about trying to just get the puck and get it out to the forwards. And that changed last year, which is why Binnington's numbers improved. It wasn't because he played better. It's because the guys in front of him played better.
I think every goalie in the NHL, it's very difficult to maintain from season to season a high level of play, a high level, high numbers, right? To be in the top 5 goaltenders consistently 5 years straight. Who does that? That Hall of Fame goalies do that, right?
Right. Even Vasilevsky fell off 2 years there.
Right. And what's his name? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Florida's goalie.
Bobrovsky.
Yeah. He won. He had 2 Vezina seasons, and sprinkling in between were off seasons.
Right. Where he was supplanted as the number 1.
Right. So and this just goes back to what I was saying earlier about Dom's, like, cherry picking stats and saying, well, the good stat, the better than expected stat is an anomaly that's going to regress, and the lower than the bad stat, that's going to be a constant. And same thing here. He says Binnington was amazing last season, but the season before he didn't have as good numbers. So why can't Binnington be the guy that had the good numbers as opposed to the guy that had the bad numbers? Why is he regressing to the norm towards the bad stuff, the bad numbers, as opposed to his play last year? And why go back 2 seasons? You would think if you're going to analyze a goalie, well, he's coming off a good numbers last year. We'll see if he can maintain that this year, which everybody's looking at. But you would think it'd be more logical that to go back multiple seasons and say, well, he's going to play more like that as opposed to his more recent play, which was last season.
Right. And a lot of his play prior to last season, a lot of the poor numbers years were attributed to him not being focused and him being a hothead, right? And him wanting to stir the pot on the ice and not being focused on playing goal. And last year, that wasn't present. And you know what happened this offseason that is going to be a huge factor in all of this? He had a kid.
Yeah.
Right. He is maturing as a person.
But you can't convince
translate onto the ice.
You can't convince anybody, any fan base, anywhere, that Binnington is not really that shit disturber on the ice like he used to be.
Right.
He's not. Last year. It was so few and far between. There were a dozen goalies in NHL that were far worse than he was, as far as taking shots.
I made a comment on the Puck podcast when I co-hosted that Jeremy Swayman does a lot of the same stuff, which we're going to talk about him later, but
worse.
He has a lot of the same stuff that Binnington does, and even worse. And somebody commented, was like, Jeremy Swayman's not that dirty. And I'm like, watch him play. Don't get me wrong, I love Jeremy Swayman. Even though he's a Bruins goalie, I love the way he plays because he reminds me of Binnington. And I love the feisty goalies that don't you fucking come near my crease. Like, I
old school
love
stuff,
that
right?
in
I
a
love
goalie.
it.
Give me that all day.
Right. Patrick Waugh with the right balance for me. Right. Cocky. And, I got suspended because he slashed a Minnesota North Star after they cut his brother from the team. But not Ron Hextall. I'm going to fucking decapitate you, crazy. Yeah. So Binnington, I think, is more like that. And I think it will come out when it needs to come out. But it's not going to be the theatrics of the linesman not letting him fight
Right.
Fleury or
Yeah.
Devin Dubnyk talking shit to him as he skates off in the corner in San Jose.
I love the fact that element of his personality is there possibly in waiting if it is needed. Like if the situation calls for it, hey, you need to act or you need to defend your teammates or something. It is there, and he does have it in him, right? But like you said, he did a much better job last season in controlling it and picking his spots. So
Yep. Okay, so moving on, he says beyond, and this is again, it's the three people who wrote this, but this sounds like Dom 100% to me. Beyond the goalies, St. Louis's biggest strength is its three-star forwards, Thomas, Kyrou, and Buchnevich. They may not be franchise talents, but they are significant needle movers who give the Blues a chance to win every night. Thomas is the closest to approaching that franchise player barrier, and another season like the one he had just may put him in that tier. He's in that tier to me. I'm sorry.
Right.
He was a guy who got, I don't know for sure, but he should have at least gotten some Selke votes last year. He was great offensively. He led this offense. The Blues lived and died by his stick and the way he played. To me,
86 points.
It's ridiculous to me
That's
that
a lot.
he's still not considered elite by the Athletic.
Well, because you got
Now,
players putting up 120 some odd points in Edmonton. That's probably why he's
still,
overshadowed.
on a team that St. Louis was
No, I know.
starved for goals last year, and he put up 80, 86, 87 points.
86.
It's ridiculous. Like
Right.
that's elite.
And that's I get frustrated every time I see the Athletic, no matter what sport it is, push out their player tiers and their goaltending tiers. And it's like so it's I don't know. I mean, I get it, you know, like this whole the Athletic model is, you know, to get the smart writers, and most of the smart writers are basing everything off of statistics. But
Well,
it just and you know, I know we sound like bitchy, you know, fans that haven't, you know, their team's getting screwed, but Robert Thomas is like, I feel like he where he is now is where Doug Gilmour was before he left, right?
Good call.
So many players or so many GMs across the league knew that he was a talent, and you know that Calgary got him out of, you know, got Gilmour out of St. Louis. I think that any GM in the league would love to get Robert Thomas because they know that he is that elite guy, probably held back by a mediocre team and an underperforming match in Jordan Kyrou, but he is elite, right? That wasn't just a thing amongst Blues fans. Robert Thomas is an elite player.
Maybe when that joke came out, you know, that it was like Robert Thomas is elite, you know, it's Oscar Sundqvist is wearing the shirt. He's not even a member of the Blues. Like that was maybe a little bit in jest, but now it's a serious statement. Robert Thomas is elite.
Right. He took that to heart and made it a thing.
I mean, 86 points on a team that struggled offensively. You put him on the right group of forwards, he's a 100-point player. So, I mean, if that's not elite, I mean, just watch him play. That's the thing, is it the plays that he makes, you know, and I'm not just talking like, oh, look at this pass on this goal, and the national writers and Dom, he doesn't watch Blues games. You know, he'll see highlights and he'll see stats.
He watches them when they play Colorado.
He watches them when they play Colorado.
Yeah,
but
true.
you know, but we watch every minute of every game, right? And except when Ponder's turning it off. But
he's going to ruin Halloween again.
He doesn't want to ruin Halloween. But we see the plays that he makes that don't turn into anything. But you know, through no fault of his own, we see these plays that he makes and the passes and the vision that he has, which is probably lost on a lot of people who are national people who don't get to watch every single game, every single team. It's impossible. You can't do it. I get it. But yeah, it is annoying to see a guy who, you know, like Dom, or who there's a number of guys like this, that they put out these reviews of each team, and they don't watch the teams play. They're going by stats and highlights and what other people are saying, and stuff like that. But and what a computer tells them to say. So it's like the battle of analysis, right? Like we look at stats, and it was what I touched on earlier. It's more of what I think is more of a complete analysis. You watch the game in detail. You also look at stats, advanced stats, and you kind of compare and contrast and see what you agree and disagree with, and we talk about it, versus mostly analysis based on stats, and that's it.
Yep.
So and that's it's easy to get frustrated when you're a person that is like we are, and I'm sure a lot of fans and a lot of fan bases are this way. That's why there's a bunch of comments online and stuff, these articles and everything, but because they disagree. But we'll see how the season plays out, and I guarantee you the Blues are going to get more than 81 points.
I'm with you. Guys, I am the conductor, the car, and the caboose for giveaways right now. You are not helping me at all. I am going to give away another thing right now. Justin Scott. Yeah, I hear you. Justin Scott in the chat has given me many reasons to pick him, and it's not just for one tweet. It's the way he's harping, like us, on Robert Thomas. He has a couple tweets here. Tweets, messages, whatever, posts, whatever you want to call them. Robert Thomas is one of the best playmakers in the league.
Why don't we call them X's?
Stop. That's ridiculous. God, I hate that guy. Elon, not Justin. Justin's wonderful. I'm older than Robert Thomas, and he's putting up 86 points. That's elite. Robert is arguably one of the best passers in the NHL. Welcome to being a fan, Justin, that gets older, because we are older than everyone.
What was that in reference to? Why do you say he's older than Robert Thomas?
I think he's just making a comment that he's still young, yet Robert Thomas is younger than him.
Okay. All right.
I'm guessing that's what he meant. I met him this summer, Justin Scott, that is. And yes, he is indeed young. Thomas is a 100-point guy this season. Ooh. Thomas is our franchise guy. Thomas should play his whole career in St. Louis. So Justin, I am going to give you a prize. So here we go. Let's pull this up. I wish I could exit out of the Goldschmidt. The Goldschmidt is gone. Everything else is available. Please tell me what you like. If you don't know, that signed puck is a Josh Levo signed puck. But yes, we've got hats. We've got carry-on purses. We've got a koozie that goes around your neck, a Puck Doku shirt, and a Ric Flair bobblehead. So whatever you like, please put that in the chat. And then drop us your address on any of the socials. You're connected to all of us. So whatever you want to give us. All right. And actually, you know what? He's got one more. Let's read this one. Thomas busted his ass all year and got worn down because no one else could do anything. We have depth now. Thomas has players around him like Holloway, Texier, etc. And that's the thing. The point that I made earlier with Dom's article here is he says something about how the Blues are relying on their 3 stars. Yes, that is true, but the depth has gotten so much better around them than it was last season. Last year, your second line center was Kevin fucking Hayes. Now, granted,
thank God he's gone.
Right?
Thank God he's gone.
So addition by subtraction, right? That could have been we could have done an entire hour about how much better this team is going to be through subtraction.
I forgot about Kevin Hayes.
Right, and nothing against Torrey Krug. Right. Kevin Hayes, he had what, 2 good games for us last year. He got a hat trick in the one game, and and he was probably good in the locker room, but damn, he was just not a good hockey player most of the season.
No, that's a very simple and good analysis. He was just not a good hockey player.
Yeah.
For us. Yeah.
Torrey Krug, the guy's been playing injured, right? He's got this thing that's been following him since he blocked a shot in Boston, and it's put him out for the rest of the season. And
damaged goods.
Right.
He's to Boston.
Right. So that decision, that he was the best available option, right? This was the unspoken part that is now being screamed, but having him sidelined and not trying to force him to play through an injury this year, right? And bringing in a number 8 overall draft pick in Broberg to supplant him.
Mm-hmm.
This team is like just by replacement, this team is not worse off than it was last year.
No.
And that's the part that
and again, like I said at the top of this, is like he's basing a lot of this off what this roster looked like last season. It has changed.
Right.
I mean, again, yeah, your number one players you're going to look at for the Blues are still there. The 3 players he mentioned, forwards, Shen, Saad. You're still looking at those guys. Even a Kapanen stands out to you probably if you're not a Blues fan. But like, what about Faksa? Again, Faksa's not. I'm not saying Fox is a game breaker, but he's better than Kevin Hayes.
Oh,
right.
Alexander Texier, better than Kevin Hayes. Like, you've got other players that are stepping in that are helping the depth of this roster.
Just call him Big Tex.
Right.
Big Tex. I like that.
Big Tex. I think that's his nickname, Big Tex.
Yeah. So the that Dom's argument would be that the defensive advanced statistics for both Fox and Texier, they were not good defensive players last year, and you're bringing them to play in your bottom 6. They're not going to make it any better, but they're replacing they're definitely replacing Kevin Hayes and probably Kasperi Kapanen. That is an upgrade. That is an upgrade all around.
The Baked Beaver asked thoughts on Falk. Anyone? Well, he was hurt last year quite a bit. So I'm thinking I expect a bit of a bounce back season for Falk if he's healthy. If he's not hiding an injury or something. He should be better.
I agree. And yeah, I think that's the biggest key. And I think they actually I will give them some credit here. I do think in this article they even mentioned they're getting a healthy Justin Falk this season, which they did not have last year. So,
right. And the other name that we haven't thrown out there tonight, wish him the best. He wound up being a good guy to have around here, but Marco Scandella, we don't have him to kick around no more.
That's true. And honestly, I thought he looked fine for the most part last season. Right. Once they took him off Tucker's line, he was fine. I thought he played really well with Matt Kessel.
And another guy that overcame an injury while he played here. Right?
Yeah,
but
100%.
Was forced to play through injury because Jay Bobister did, and look what happened.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, too soon.
Last thing that we'll mention on this article, St. Louis's biggest issue continues to be its outclassed top pair, Colton Parayko and Nick Leddy. The duo currently grade out as a bottom 3 top pairing in the league, a product of losing matchups decisively night in and night out. That was true last season when they earned 44% of expected goals and were outscored 54-49. And it was also true the year before with 45% of the expected goals while being outscored 47-35. This pair gets caved in annually. This is the one thing that I can somewhat agree with. I think calling them a bottom 3 pairing in the league is a little harsh. I don't think they're that bad, but I will say
statistically he can back that up.
Statistically, yes. But again, talking about actually watching the fucking games,
and
I don't think they're as bad as he's making them out to be. I thought they played fine. I've been on the record as saying I'm not a big Nick Leddy fan. I don't like him on the top pairing. I'm hoping that at some point Broberg replaces him on the top pairing. But I don't think they're as bad as he's saying. But I will say that I do think that top pairing is a little weaker compared to pretty much all the playoff teams from last year. If you can find a way, and again, maybe that's Broberg, to improve that top pairing, I think that could go a long way for this team.
Right. I think if you compare it against the other teams in the Central, it's definitely not going to stack up. Even Utah Hockey Club picked up Mikhail Sergachev this offseason, which God, if he was
him and Sean Dursey together are going to look good.
Yeah, they're going to look real good together.
Yeah.
Parayko and Leddy were paired in practice today, by the way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's an in-season adjustment that if Broberg plays like the Broberg that finally got ice time in the playoffs last year, I think Letty will be relegated to second line by midseason.
So Letty
think so,
Falk.
too.
Yep.
I like Kessel Falk a lot, though. I can see Letty maybe dropping to third pairing.
Yeah.
Letty Suter, Letty Prunovich.
So that's the other thing.
Letty
right,
Suter makes me nervous.
Letty Prunovich makes me nervous.
The Suter being around is good for Matt Kessel, and that's about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good pair to start the season. But if we're talking about Ryan Suter eating up 10 minutes a night, come March, we're in trouble.
We talked about that when we acquired him. It was
right.
It's like he needs to be, at most 2 out of every 3 games guy, or 1 out of every 3 games guy, or just matchups based on who we're playing. He might get a start, but he should spend at least a third of the season in the press box.
Right. He needs to be like, they need to be transitioning him into a coaching role next season.
Yep. All right. So there is a great article, I thought. Well, I mean, just as great as, because they have to be as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Any article following that one's going to be great, though.
Yeah, the NHL.com one from Tracy Myers. There's a word I'm looking for. She can't be too harsh because she works for the NHL, so she's not going to go out there and say
conflict
the Blues are terrible. But
former Blackhawks writer Tracy Myers.
That's
too,
true.
Right?
That's true, and she does a good job. I actually like everything she's done. But we don't need to go too in depth with this. She just kind of lays a lot of the stats out. The thing that stood out to me, I'm glad she called this out because this was a name that we did not see come up much in Dom's article. Matthew Kessel got about half a season with the Blues in 23-24 and should be a steadier part of the roster this season. The 24-year-old defenseman had 7 points, 1 goal, and 6 assists in 39 games. And again, with Crew gone this season, Kessel is another who will be counted on to step up his game. And I think that's another thing that we're not really, and we haven't even really discussed, is that this is another year of development for Kessel. He was excellent last year when he stepped in. As the season went along, there started to be, you could see a slight decline in his game. I think it was against Tampa. He made some really bad plays, and it was like, whoa, what happened to this guy? They sent him down. He came back up, and he looked great. So I think we're going to see another step in his development this year to be a more consistent, steady, second pairing guy. And again, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Him and Falk, I think, could be a great pair. And I'm a big fan of Matt Kessel, so I'm excited to see what he does this season.
Yeah. With Bortuzzo still on this roster last year, he was not a name that we were talking about in the season preview show a whole lot. Probably got dropped once or twice, but yeah, not somebody we expected to round out the season on this team. But he was ultimately the reason why Robert Bortuzzo went to the Isle.
Yep. And then Justin Scott asks us, are you guys feeling all right about P.O. Joseph? So I've seen P.O. play twice, I believe, in a Blues jersey. And I liked his game. I thought he looked he's a guy that can battle in front as much as the NHL allows. And he's a guy that's not afraid to go into the corners with some of the bigger guys in the league. So I'm excited about P.O. Joseph. I don't know how much he can contribute with as many defensemen as we've got on this roster, but I do think when he plays, we will notice him. And I'm excited to see what he does. I think he'll be a third pairing guy, but with injuries, who knows? I might step into the first or second pairing as well.
Yeah, I would really, it's such a good storyline. I'd like to see both of them make the team out of camp, but I don't
think they
see
do.
it. I would love to see it. I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do you think doesn't make it?
I think PO because of the numbers game on defense, and I think they're going to fuck up and keep Tyler Tucker as the 9th defenseman, which we don't need.
Justin Scott does add, I don't think the Joseph brothers are crazy needle movers, but I think they are good depth. I agree. I don't think it's not like we're going to be looking back at the end of the season and go, oh, thank God they signed the Joseph brothers. But I do think they are guys that are going to step in and play some important minutes down the stretch. And if this team is battling for a playoff spot, you need guys who have energy, and both those guys definitely do. So, looking at the Central Division, obviously we've got the Chicago Blackhawks, Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, Nashville Predators, Utah Coyotes, and the Winnipeg Jets. Where do you think this team finishes looking at these guys?
Optimistically,
you can even say it in optimistically terms.
I mean, I think everything goes right this season for them. I think they could finish third. I think they probably finish fourth. I think they're above Chicago, Minnesota, Utah Coyotes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've said before, I hate predicting this shit because so many things can determine how a team fares during the season that you don't expect. A lot of intangibles, but I don't know. I'll say fourth. I'll say they're fighting for a wild card spot.
Just so those know, if you miss our summer shows, I refuse to call them the Utah Hockey Club. In fact, that is the last time you will hear me reference them as that.
Utah Yotes.
To me,
that flows nice.
Until they have a team name, they are the Utah Yotes or the Utah Coyotes.
Yeah, I would say the Utah Yotes just kind of flows. Got the alliteration going.
They'll be the Utah Magic underwear for me, but
I like the Storm and Mormons. I would say go with that.
That's pretty awesome too. Yeah, so I'm gonna revert to my Puckdoku strategy here and do this analysis by goaltender only.
So we're finishing second.
No, I think we're finishing probably third.
Okay.
So I think that
because you're going
only
Ottinger
because
and Hellebuck, right?
Yes, Ottinger and Hellebuck over Binnington.
I'm fine with that.
But I don't think Winnipeg is got enough to put them beyond us. I think they're going to wind up finishing fourth. I think Colorado's just going to outgun enough other teams that they'll finish ahead of us in the standings. But goaltending wise, yeah, I think that as long as there isn't a great regression as Dom predicts, I think the Blues will be should be right there battling for third. Maybe we land at fourth, but
anything good the Blues did last season, Dom says is going to regress down. So
right, of course, yeah. I think I think there's a chance that Winnipeg slips big time. Hellebuck has carried that team for too long, and if they don't progress in other areas, I can see him slipping. I think Utah could have a decent year. Vamelka could have a solid year. Connor Ingram.
And Sergachev is obviously a huge upgrade defensively. And then you've got Logan Cooley, who's going to probably, I think, is going to have a breakout year.
Right.
You got plenty of other guys that can step up. So, and there's going to be that bump, right? There's always a bump for a team that moves to a new city.
So where do our current, I would say our arch rivals currently right now is Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So where do you have them finishing?
So I think that they are going to wind up overall disappointing.
Amazing.
I think they made the bad decision of going with Saros over Askarov and sent Askarov to San Jose. I think they're going to rue that. Saros had a really good year last year, but I've never been sold on him.
But is Dom predicting he's going to regress down this year?
No, of course not. Of course he isn't.
Why?
Because they signed Stamkos and Marchessault, so they are going to be top tier contenders.
I'm pretty sure Stamkos is a analytics darling. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I think he is. So I'm sure Dom was like, they're going to win the Stanley fucking Cup.
Yeah, no, I've never been sold on Saros. He's an undersized goalie. The Blues tore him apart 2 years ago. Last year, not so much. But I think that they made the wrong decision in goal, giving up on Askarov. Minnesota, goaltending wise, Fleury is another, like, Fleury is a legend, and let's give the legend his due, but he's another year older. I don't think he is going to put them over the hump. I'll say that Chicago, I think bringing in Laurent Brossoit is a huge upgrade over Arvid Holm. But
at least a name for sure.
Yes, but Arvid Holm was it no Soderblom. Arvid Soderblom.
Soderblom. Yeah.
Holm was a Jets goalie.
Soderblom was a Blackhawk.
Yes, Arvid Soderblom, and he was terrible. He was awful. So Brossoit over him,
statistically one of the worst starting goalies. Well, split starting goalies we've ever seen.
Chicago won't be as bad as they were last year, but they're not a playoff team. They're still a couple years off, right? They would have, like, Connor Bedard would have to, like, literally the ice would have to melt and he would have to walk on water and heal lepers and shit.
If he puts up like 220 points, they might be pretty good.
Possibly, but hasn't happened since Gretzky's, so I'm not going to hold my breath.
I'm looking at Saros. I'm looking at Saros's numbers here real quick.
Yeah.
So I bet you Dom didn't mention that Saros's goals against average and goals against average over the last 4 seasons has gone up each season. So it's trending up. His save percentage is trending down, and his quality starts over the past 4 seasons 4 seasons ago it was 22, and then 43, and then it's gone down ever since. Quality start percentage, again, last 3 seasons, it's gone down. So each season, incrementally.
And the Predators have gotten better over that time, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if we're talking about trends, I mean, Saros is his save percentage this season is going to be maybe around 900, like right on the spot at the nose. That's not going to cut it for a playoff team goalie.
Nope.
So,
anyway. And so I'll add. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if they would have kept Askarov, I would definitely think I would have the Blues well behind them in the playoff chase this year.
I think, personally, talking about Nashville, I think they're going to regret the Stamkos signing quicker than people are saying they will. I think we might have noticed it this season. I think a lot, and I'm not saying anything negative on Stamkos himself. I think part of what made him great was he was surrounded by greatness in Tampa. Now, 5 years ago, I would have said, yeah, take him. Back when he was a free agent a couple of years ago, and Toronto was the team he was going to, of course, I was like, yeah, if they get Stamkos, that's a Stanley Cup team. But it's, 4 or 5 years later now. You're getting an older Stamkos. He's faced a lot of injuries over the years. I don't think he's going to be that solid for them. I look at this as not as much, but I think of like the Lecavalier when he left Tampa and went to Philly, then LA, and just could not get his bearings anywhere else. And I kind of thinking that might happen here with Stamkos. I think Marchessault was a solid signing. I like him for them, but I just don't see Stamkos working out to be a 70, 80 point guy for them that they're expecting for like the first 2 years of his contract. I think they're going to regret that.
And if Ryan, and if Ryan O'Reilly, I mean, don't forget how he played with the Blues 2 years ago. So, I mean, or 3 years ago, 2. Anyway, his last year with the Blues, and then he tore it up with Nashville, right? But
Nashville was his first season last year.
Yeah, okay. So, if we're talking about comparing 2 years ago versus last year, I mean, I keep reflecting back on the Dom's thinking.
Nashville got hot at the right time last year.
Right.
And they made the playoffs because of the timing of their hotness.
Right. Brunette wouldn't allow them to go have their night out in Vegas, and that pissed them off.
Yep. And so I think personally that next season, or I'm sorry, this season, I could see them. I'm not going to say regress because I think it'd only be. I can see them finishing about where they finished last year in terms of point totals, which that could very well not be enough to make the playoffs. They were at what, 90, I want to say 96, 98 points last year. If you finish with 96 points in the NHL, there's a chance you still don't make the playoffs. So for me, I think they finish about where they were last year, but that's saying a lot because they spent a lot of money this summer.
Baked Beavers said O'Reilly was 3 years ago. He was with the Blues 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, he was.
And he was traded to Toronto,
was,
and then last year it was his first year in Nashville.
Yeah.
So
yep. So Baked Beaver says he went to the Leafs, then to the Preds, right?
Yeah, but that was
traded
at the deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, he was traded at the deadline. Well, shortly before the deadline.
Yes, right.
Went to the Leafs and then went to the Preds in the following summer.
Right.
Which
He was with the
summer.
Blues 2 seasons ago.
Yep. All right. And for me, again, just quickly going over what I think. I think Blues will be, again, right where they were last year. I think you guys kind of said the same thing here. They'll be battling with Nashville for a playoff spot, maybe even Minnesota. Maybe they work their way up there.
That's the goal, right? To finish ahead of Nashville and Minnesota. That's what.
Yep.
That's a win. If they can do both those this season, that's a win, I think.
Yep.
Blues.
Yep. And I'll say I think the class of the division is Dallas and Colorado. I think Dallas takes it personally. But Colorado, I think, is number 2. I think Winnipeg takes 3. I think Blues could be a playoff spot team like I thought they were maybe going into last season. So 4th or 5th for the Blues. We'll see how good the Pacific Division is this year. But one of you said it, Utah could be a surprise. I don't think Minnesota lasts. I don't think Nashville makes the playoffs. So I do think the Blues have a chance here to at least sneak in as a 7th or 8th seed.
It'd be great to see Nashville kind of fall on their face this season because there's a lot of expectations there with all the moves they made. So oh god, it'd be so
and Barry
nice.
Trotz, like Bill said, moving Askarov and going with his man Saros. We'll see how that does.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Bill about Askarov because I didn't know a lot about him because he's only played in a few NHL games. So
he was a top prospect.
Yeah, he was the number 1 goalie prospect.
Okay.
Going into last year.
Okay.
I mean, how many AHL goalies have a famous bobblehead? Right.
Yeah.
He had the bench pressing of the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He took Milwaukee on a crazy run. Not last year, the year before, and he earned his way into the Nashville lineup, and he got 2 games with them last year.
2 or
3.
But in Nashville's defense, though, if their expectations are playoffs or winning or finishing as high as they can in the division, maybe 3rd, and getting a playoff spot, and hopefully going, a couple rounds, could they go with a guy with 2 career NHL games under his belt as your goalie? I mean, that's a big question mark, huge question mark.
But I think that's a a sign of mismanagement last year, right? That they didn't. They who was their backup goalie last year? I don't even remember.
Sean Burke.
It was
what team he did play for?
Lankinen.
Kevin Lankinen. That's right.
Yeah, he played 24 games with them.
Yeah, and that's why, right? Kevin Lankinen, he was Chicago Blackhawk before that. Jesus, bring that guy up and give him the NHL exposure so you can turn it over. I think it was just poor goalie management.
Well, and another option would have been, Linus Ullmark was available.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you go out and get Linus Ullmark, you move Saros, and that way you've got a tandem of Askarov and Ullmark.
What's interesting too, and that was the 2 games he played in were in December.
Yeah.
So it wasn't late in the year or anything. It was just they played him twice and then they just didn't after that.
Right. And that was the thing at the trade deadline and in the offseason. Are they going to keep going with Saros? And they're betting on him big time.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
they are.
I mean, and he's.
I've never been a believer.
Well, I mean, he's got his career numbers are pretty good, but he's also, how old is he? He's getting up there, isn't he? Maybe not.
No idea. Guys, I got another giveaway.
It's got to be close to 30.
He's 20. He's 28.
28. Yep. Okay. Yeah. We've got another giveaway. This happened a while ago, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. I love the fake Utah names. I'm all for it. Again, I'm going to stick with Coyotes just because to me it just kind of makes fun of the whole NHL thing of we're going to protect the Coyotes. But I like this name here, Matt Anger or Matt Anger, however you say your name. You are our next recipient of a giveaway. He says the Utah Joseph Smiths. I'm all for that. That is just funny. That makes me laugh. So Matt, please get with us on social media on your address. I will be glad to send you one of our giveaways, which everything's pictured here. The only thing that is not available there is the Goldschmidt bobblehead. That puck is a Josh Levo signed puck. And then, of course, we got everything else there listed.
How about the Utah Church of Latter-day Saints?
I like that. I'm cool with that one, too. So, yeah, please let me know. And you can let me know in the chat which giveaway you would like. And I will make sure to include that for you. Hold it aside. But, yes, please get with us on social media or radio at letsgoblues.com and tell us the best way to get in touch with you. Guys, let's talk a little quickly.
Whoa, wrong. There we go.
Oh, bye, Bill. See ya.
Pay attention. Come on.
I don't need to be here.
There's a lot
Do you have
going
to,
on.
The overlay gets wiped when you share your screen?
Yeah, I'm not sharing my screen. I put that that picture as an overlay.
Gotcha.
That way I can click
I see it now.
between easily.
Gotcha.
Yep. Everyone's like, what? Yeah, that's back end talk, folks. This is why it's a live show. You're gonna hear stuff like that. Quickly, let's talk about the Blues' possible holes or weaknesses. I mentioned a couple different here. I know, Bill, you added your own, but I'm just gonna say for me, the second line center is a hole. I could see that being a makeshift Radek Faksa or Alexander Texier. But I think if this team is close to a playoff spot or in a playoff spot at the trade deadline, and I know the goal this year is to just kind of continue the retool, but I would love to see them go out and try and get a second line center if possible. I don't want to trade away any huge prospects or anything like that, or even huge draft picks. But if there's a second line center available in the short term, maybe it's a contract year for a player, a rental, I think you go get him because right now that looks like it's going to be Braden Shen. That's not who he is anymore. And then obviously I'll add to the defense. To me, they had a much, much improved year last year, but I want to see if that can be maintained for a second year. Go ahead, Bill. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. So my big thing, not to completely parrot you, my concern is scoring depth, right? That if Neighbors gets shut down, if he regresses as Dom predicts from his 18,
just can't have nice things. Everything's got to regress with Dom.
Can't have nice things. But no, overall scoring depth, right? And that's why I really want Bolduc to make this team and become the second line right winger who puts in 30 goals this year, right? That is what we need.
I'll say 22. Let's not get greedy. 22.
No, 30. We need 30.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll
be happy with 20, right? I get it. But overall, right?
20 means it gets in the last week of the season. That's no good.
Yeah, we need depth scoring. We don't need 11 goals from Toropchenko to be like, oh, that's exciting. No, we need 20 to 30 goals from Bolduc. We need Holloway to chip in 20-ish. Bushnevich and Kyrou to each be over 30. Thomas pushing the 100 mark for points. Yeah, it's that secondary scoring that I really worry about. And then the other is right, and this has been the criticism and is going to continue to be the criticism until we're no longer paying somebody $6.5 million a year on defense. The aging middling D core of this team.
Real quick, I'll just add to your scoring depth. Pavel Buchnevich was fine last year. I want to see him be great.
Mhm.
I think if we could get a little bit more out of Buchnevich, I think that would be a huge help offensively.
I think the only reason he was fine last year was because he had a really nice finish. I thought for a large chunk in the middle of the season, he was ineffective. I thought he kind of fell. I thought he fell in line with how the rest of the forward groups were. The rest of forward core was kind of doing. He wasn't elevating anybody. But I think he was just kind of going with how the offense went, and he needs to help carry the offense along with a couple other players, as opposed to being the guy that is the benefactor of other people playing well around him. You know what I mean? He was. I mean, how many times last year he was I mean, he had chances. He was missing the net like nobody's business. So
I want to say he hit like 2 posts in like 2 games, and then he didn't score after that for like 7 or 8 games. And it was just like, is he snake bit or is he just giving up?
For a good chunk of that middle third of the season, he was just like it was rough.
Right.
For him.
Right.
So,
Go back to that West Coast swing, right? Where I think he hit a post in Vancouver and then he got the game winner in Seattle and he did that weird celebration.
Oh God, I loved it.
Right. But then it's like, okay, so maybe he's off the schneid, and no, it was another
really.
2 weeks before he hit the net again. We don't need that guy. We need a consistent guy there.
I agree.
But that's that problem is primary scoring. I'm saying the issue is going to be secondary.
And I agree with you. I think secondary, my things are secondary scoring, scoring depth. Is because it's going to be a question with this team until it isn't, because that's the elephant in the room. I don't care. You can talk about the issues on defense. You know, the defense was better last year. I'll fight people on that. Goaltending was really good. And so the elephant in the room, the biggest squeaky wheel on this team is production from your offense, just in general, right? Besides Thomas. So it's got to be and so it's going to be a problem until it isn't. They got to prove that they're better. It's almost like the defense last year had to prove they're better from the previous couple seasons when they were really bad, and it took a while. But for people who are paying attention, they were better last year as a core. And talked about Buchnevich being more consistent. Shen needs to prove this year that last year wasn't the start of his decline. I'd like to see him have a little bit of a bounce back year. I'm looking forward to Holloway, and how he injects some scoring into the offense, and some depth, some nice depth. Let's see. What do I got here? Defense, Broberg, crew. We talked about that a lot.
Well, hang on real quick. Well, since you just mentioned, first of all, Heavy Hockey Network has stepped in. That's our friend Michael Hebert, who's been on the show countless times. He's an
Big
Oilers
Dylan
guy.
Holloway fan.
He says, yeah, what did I miss? Isn't Bucci playing second line center? A couple of responses there in the chat about it, but yeah, that's kind of what we're hearing might happen. But
that's the lines today in practice were Buchnevich the center.
I just don't like him at center. He's a wing. Honestly, and that's the same for Braden Shen. I think Braden Shen's a much better winger than center. So I would love to see him continue to play wing. But yes, right now he is your center. I do think that will change. And then he also adds, Holloway won't get you 20, but he'll get you 13 to 15. Now, I will say you did watch him play more than any of the people on this panel. But I will say, I think the Blues got him expecting him to be able to step up his game a little bit. He is a former first round selection. So I do think, I think they're expecting him to be a 20 goal scorer if he can do it. Now, again, I know preseason, it's hard to translate what we've seen with that into regular season, but he has looked very, very good for the Blues. So We might see him. I think you're probably right. It's better to regress back.
Well,
sorry, not trying to be Dom, but yes, let's say 15 and see how the rest of this team does. But I do think there is a possibility we'll see him be a 20-goal scorer this season.
He's 22-23, he had 3 goals. 23-24, he had 6. 38 games, granted. But so if you average out his goals last season over a 82 game season, that's what, 13 goals, maybe something like that. So his prediction based on last season's average is accurate. But like you said, Jeff, that you would hope that he progresses and does more than just what he did last year. If he's playing a full 82 game season, you would hope he could step it up to 18 goals, maybe 20 goals. So we'll see.
All right. Well, next up for the Blues, Thursday, October 3rd. So tomorrow night they play Dallas in a preseason game at 7:00. That's here in St. Louis. Saturday, October 5th, they play Chicago. Last week I said they were in Wichita, and I have no idea where that came from. They're actually in Milwaukee. That is a 7 p.m. start. And from what I've seen still, there is going to be no cameras there, apparently, because it is not being covered anywhere.
That is the biggest swing and a miss when the NHL does this. No cameras at a game. Get a local college, junior college, get some broadcasting students, the AV team out there.
Milwaukee
and stream
has an AHL team. You're telling me you can't get the AHL guys to do it?
But you have to pay them.
About Yaroslav Askarov. He has been Milwaukee hockey for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You may have to pay the AHL guys. I'm just talking about getting you have to pay these college kids. They'll do it just to get experience.
Right.
Just who cares? It's streaming online. Just put it.
I can't tell you how many times I worked for experience trying to get into the media. So yes, there are plenty of people who will do that.
And to be honest, they'd probably love it.
They would. I know. I did.
Kids. So yeah. I don't understand. I mean, maybe there's some kind of legalities with it as far as whatever, but it's just if it's red tape, it's just red tape getting in the way of an easy no-brainer good thing.
I know a guy who worked the prospect tournament here a couple weeks ago. He was in the scorer's box. He kept score, kept the stats, and he did it for free because he just wanted to do it. He was like, "Man, you kidding me? Yeah, of course. I work with the NHL teams. Yeah, and he's like 40. Like, I guarantee you, college kids would love that opportunity." Yeah. So then after that game, we've got the season opener, folks. It's finally here. Tuesday, October 8th, of course. Prime time, Tuesday at 3:30. We open the season. Perfect scheduling by the NHL.
Thank God I work from home.
Yeah,
3:30 St. Louis time, 1:30 local time in Seattle.
I don't. Have we ever seen this? It's unprecedented.
Is the NHL doing games all day long, like one game at 11, and staggering the starts a little bit and having them all day? Because if
even
that's
that on
the
a
case,
Saturday.
Well, I mean, but if that's the case, I'm not. I mean, I don't like it, but I would understand the desire to have games on all day long. But
I have no idea. I know that it's a national coverage game, so very likely that is what they're doing. But
ESPN
to me, you do that on a fucking
Tuesday night
Saturday,
hockey, right?
Yeah, you do that on a Saturday or Sunday. You don't do that on a fucking Tuesday.
Well, you know what though? Yeah, I know, I get it, but I mean, Saturday and Sundays too. It's the weekend, and people have stuff going on. It's hard to watch hockey all day. But I'll say this: that it is really nice to be able to when you do have access to a TV at some point in the weekend to turn it on, and there's a hockey game on. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
if
I
it's
do love that.
Noon, 3, 6, 9. It's all day long. You just turn a hockey game on. That's pretty cool.
And that is what I've said the league needs to do every fucking Saturday. I don't give a shit you're going up against college football because hockey fans don't care. You schedule it. First game, 11 a.m. Central Time, and you got games until midnight.
Yeah, but
I don't know why they don't do that.
Well,
They do it twice a year, right? Hockey Day in Canada and Hockey Day across America.
Yeah, but they're
Give it to
fighting. They're
me.
fighting against college football and stuff.
Okay,
It's
what
like,
about when college football season ends? There's nothing else on Saturdays. They still don't do it.
I don't know. I mean,
Doesn't make any sense.
no. I mean, I'd love to ask that question to somebody within the NHL. I mean, that'd be a good. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe hockey does not draw well with the viewership in off primetime hours.
But I don't feel like they've ever actually tried to make it an all-day thing.
Well, but they have done it, and I mean they have done it in the past, and maybe the numbers aren't very good. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
It just blows my mind. I would think they would do very well because I know for a fact me and you guys and then other people I know would love to just sit around and watch hockey on a Saturday.
I agree with you. But the ratings numbers get bumped up from the casual fans tuning in, right? The diehards are always going to tune in no matter what. But what you want to see is the casual fans tuning in.
So we'll probably, I would guess, our show will either be that Tuesday night after that game or the Wednesday after. I'm going to guess the Wednesday after that game. So it'll be Wednesday, October 9th. But just to give you a little bit more of the schedule, Thursday, October 10th, the Blues are in San Jose at 9:30. Macklin Celebrini did face an injury recently, so we'll see if he's available for that game.
I saw him going to the corner and the board's hard. Did they say what it was?
They say he's day-to-day. That's all I've seen.
That was nasty looking.
It was, yeah. And then Friday, so they open the season Tuesday at 3:30. Then they play back-to-back games in San Jose, and then Friday in Vegas at 9:00. But again, we will probably have a show on Wednesday next week, just giving you an idea of what the schedule looks like for the opening of the season. Real quick, you guys asked me. I did go through all three beers. I just finished. So this one from Lakefront Brewery, the Pumpkin Lager. I'm going to give that one a 1.5.
Is that I did see you try it and make a face. I saw that earlier.
Oh, it was not good.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished. I mean, yeah, of course I finished.
Oh, you're
I
a trooper.
poured it in a glass. I'm not. What am I going to do with it?
I don't put it down in sink. I don't know.
Well, there's not a sink around me, is there?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the layout of your house.
And then, and then the other one that I had was the Shipyard Pumpkinhead. I actually enjoyed this one. I think this was my favorite of the three. So what did I give the other one? A 5? I'm going to give this one a 6.4.
So that's the big winner tonight, huh?
Yeah, that's the winner. The Shipyard from Portland, Maine, Pumpkinhead. So that was the one that I actually got a 6-pack of. The other ones I just did the fill the 6. Right. They didn't have it in that. So I was like, I'll just pick up the 6-pack. So I'm like, good choice. This is a good one.
Yeah, so I joined the Pumpkin Fund.
I do like the ill repute.
Yes.
Repute, right?
Yes, ill repute.
They had that on tap, did they not? At Four Hands over the weekend when we were there?
Yeah, we were there at Four Hands at the factory in Chesterfield.
Have you been there, Jeff? The factory, the Four Hands factory?
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
The first time I was there was over the weekend. It's nice.
Yeah, we went randomly. We went to Top Golf, and I was like, man, we should go somewhere close. And so we went there, and I loved it. That was great. They had the Cardinals game on the big TV, and it was really cool.
You would love that game show thing they have there.
Yeah.
We went and did that over the weekend.
Yeah, the game show battle room.
The game show battle room. It's right there next to Four Hands and kind of like what couple doors down from Four Hands.
So Bikes and Bruises in between, but it's like 2 doors down.
Go check out the game show battle room. It's fun. You basically do like a Family Feud, you do
Wheel of Fortune and the Price is
Right, Plinko. It was, and kind of like all you do one and the other, and it's like you're there for an hour, and there's a game, there's a host.
Not only is there a host, the host that we had was Lance Hildebrand.
Lance Hildebrand
from St. Louis Traffic Radio.
Yeah, he's Y98, and then I don't think he's employed on the radio right now. I don't think he's on the Arch. I thought he was, but I guess he's not. But yeah,
That
long
sounds
time
awesome.
radio guy in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So
Might
I would
check that out.
I would recommend that. Just go checking out and taking a group
So you
over
guys
there.
you guys went together?
We went with some family and friends from friends from out of town and stuff came, and we
Nice.
Amy set up for my birthday. But yeah, so it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was take a group over there and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
cool. And Big Beaver says, man, that area must have changed a lot. Yeah, Big Beaver, I'm not sure when you left St. Louis, but I think when you left, that was the second outlet mall that Chesterfield stupidly built to run themselves out of money.
Right, and both have now failed.
Yes. But that was the one that was across the highway from Chesterfield Commons. But they've turned that into like an event area / brewery area, and it's super cool now. So
there's a concert venue.
Yep.
The concert venue, you've got Four Hands. The factory is
the concert venue is the factory, right?
Yep. And then Cigar Bar Lit is there.
Hey, Beaver, 2013. Yes, it has changed a lot since 2013. All right, real quick, let's run through some rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. The NHL Board of Governors meeting was today. They had some collective bargaining agreements talks with players, and they're saying that, they're not the talks. They're saying they're going to start in January of 2025 is the plan. Bettman wants a resolution for the next collective bargaining agreement by the Stanley Cup final, which this doesn't end until, is it 2026?
Yeah.
I believe it's after next season is when the current contract ends.
Well, the CBA talks with players start in early 2025, so that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that he's talking about getting a resolution, and we'll say, like, they've had their lockouts in the past. The last couple CBA talks they've had have gone very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that trend continues, because if they continue to have the lockouts and the strikes or whatever, all you're gonna do is alienate fans.
What are your thoughts on shrinking the preseason and expanding the regular season?
Okay. I'll just say shrinking the preseason, I actually don't like. They only have 6 games, 6 or 7 games, right?
Yeah, and they've already shrunk. Remember back in the day, they used to have a lot more preseason.
Yeah, it is shrunk too far at this point, and the regular season should not be expanded. If anything, the regular season should be redacted by a few games.
I would say for preseason, especially, I listen, I'm not saying I sit here and I love preseason. Oh my God, preseason hockey's on. I mean, I'll watch it if it's on, but for the players, like, just thinking of myself as a beer league hockey player, we've got a fucking preseason game coming up next week. And it's like, I know I need that to get myself in game shape for the regular season. You think of these athletes who take the whole summer off. I mean, obviously they still work out. Yeah, they still work out. They still skate, but they got to get that chemistry back. They got to rework. Games start to matter very quickly. I think getting them some preseason games and letting these the coaches evaluate the talent in these preseason games, I think what they have right now is fine. I think it's perfect. I think the NFL could use some less preseason games, but the NHL, I think they're in a fine spot.
Things have changed a lot over the past 20 years as far as preseason goes, and it's gotten less. And I don't know. I would like to see the regular season expanded, and I'll tell you why. Only if they're going to do more divisional games. That's because right now I complain about this every goddamn year. I play the Blackhawks 3 times. What? 3 times? Yeah. We used to play those fuckers 6 times a season. So I'm like, you should play more games. I'm of the opinion that you should play more games against your division than anybody else. And it's because, especially with divisional playoffs. That's seeding.
That's what I don't get. They literally said when they started the divisional playoffs, they said, we want to expand rivalries. We want to make these more important and bigger.
Yep.
But we're going to shrink the amount of games they play in the regular season?
Yeah.
That
It's either
doesn't make
3 or
any
4,
sense.
right? And if you want rivalries, you'll have 6 games against each team during the season. You'll have and 1 home and home against every team. And then I love the division. I mean, there's always an issue with any playoff format, but I do like the divisional format if you're talking about creating more rivalries, because you're more likely to face a team in the first round or whatever more often if you're always playing somebody in your division, or typically. So that's I give me, if you're going to expand the regular season, okay, but you have to do so with giving you more division games.
I actually really, really like this comment from Heavy Hockey Network. Add preseason games, but only throw in the veteran requirement for the final 2 preseason games. I'm okay with that because they do have a veteran requirement. I don't remember what the number is, but it's like you have to have a certain amount of NHL regulars on your roster for preseason, which I kind of understand because you want to draw fans into the stands. You want to watch on TV.
How do they define NHL?
It's a number of NHL games. I don't remember what it is, but to me, I think that's silly because, like, for me, when I go see, like, there's a chance I'm going to go to the game tomorrow night, and I'm like, I don't want to see Braden Shen and Colton Parayko and Jordan Bennington. Even I'm like, I'm going to preseason because I want to see what is in the ranks for the Blues.
Yeah,
and I just think that if you take away that veteran, and yes, there's going to be some fans who are like, God damn it, Jordan Bennington's not playing. But to me,
but when else could you get to see Zarenko play? Or whatever.
Right?
I mean, that's no.
Yep,
I'm with you.
I'm
with you.
I like that Heavy Hockey Network. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm fine with that because that's you'll see the regulars during the season. Yep. I mean, the only time you're going to see a lot of these guys in person or on TV is if in the preseason. So yeah, give me that.
Kurt, I got bad news. Bill is yawning, so I think we need to move through this next story very
Holy
quickly.
Shit. It is after 12.
Yeah, yep. And we're coming up on a 3-hour show, so let's wrap this up.
Damn it.
The Jeremy Swayman.
I've been fighting it all night, boys.
The Jeremy Swayman fiasco in Boston has been hilarious to watch.
Bunch of bitches.
The Bruins traded they had one of the best, probably the best tandem in the league, and Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. They basically said, and it's funny as we talk about Edmonton going out and signing all these guys and not locking up their RFAs. The Blues took advantage. Lo and behold, look what Boston did. They did not lock up their RFA and Jeremy Swayman. I guess at this point we could say they're planned on franchise goalie because they moved Linus Ullmark, a guy who received Vezina votes.
Was the Vezina Trophy winner the year before?
Yes. He gets moved to the Ottawa Senators early in the offseason. They acquire Yotis Korpisalo in the offseason as well. So that way it's like, oh, we got a good backup here for Swayman. Oh, but wait, Swayman doesn't have a contract. So Swayman actually entered camp like we talked about Alexandrov. He enters camp without a contract, still comes in, says, I want to get my games in. And there has been talks back and forth about how Swayman wants this, the Bruins want that, and they're close. Kurt, you said the rumor was there were like $1.5 million apart at this point
total for the contract. I saw that somewhere and I can't find where I saw it, but yeah, it was like $200,000 per year off. Because when Neely said the offer was $64 million, hinted the offer was $64 million, and then Swayman's agent came out and said, "No, it's nowhere near that. Let's get."
Oh, no. Let's read the quotes because they're hilarious.
All right.
So first of all, and I said this to you guys before the show started. When have you ever heard Cam Neely say something in his current role or do something in his current role that was positive? Anytime I've ever heard from Cam Neely, it's something negative. Remember the water bottle throwing incident, but in the Stanley Cup final, he lost his shit when the Blues started taking a lead.
Well, it was because the
Grizzly
called.
Right?
That's why.
Right. That's right. The what a trip.
Yeah.
What a trip.
I
don't
blame him for throwing the bottle.
He said in his press conference that it's unfortunate a deal isn't done, but that quote he said was, "I don't want to get into the weeds with what his ask is, but I know that I have 64 million reasons why I'd be playing right now." So basically that is him saying we offered him a $64 million contract. His agent, Jeremy Swayman's agent, that is, came out and said through Instagram, quote, "Normally, I do not release statements or discuss negotiations through the media. However, in this case, I feel I need to defend my client. At today's press conference, 64 million was referenced. That was the first time that number was discussed in our negotiations. Prior to the press conference, no offer was made reaching that level. We are extremely disappointed. This was not fair to Jeremy. We will take a few days to discuss where we go from here." Now we're talking trade.
Yeah.
So Linus Ullmark moved. Jeremy Swayman likely gone. Your number one tandem has been broken up in one off season.
The rumor that I saw was the offer from the Bruins was $62.5 million, and so that makes them about $200,000 apart, something like that, give or take, per season. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I thought that was funny. If that's true, you know, I can see where Cam Neely kind of fudged, you know, and just rounded up or whatever, to say 64. But then, you know, fuck Swayman's agent for saying, for implying that, oh, that number was never discussed. I'm like, if those are the two numbers, you fuckers are very, very close. How do you not get something done? But we'll see. That is a good possibility that is not true. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, the Bruins did claim Yuri Patera off waivers from Vancouver today. So that is another goaltender. Could just be like, hey, let's take this guy. Let's see what he does in the AHL. But it does seem that a trade is imminent now, I think, at this point with Swayman, which is just hilarious.
You talk about horrible goaltender mismanagement. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we bitch about that here in St. Louis. Look at what's going on in Boston.
Yeah. Cam Neely just said, "Hey, Doug Armstrong, hold my beer."
Yeah.
Where does Dom have the Bruins finishing this season?
I'm sure they're winning the cup. I'm sure 31 teams are winning the cup this year.
Their goaltending is completely up in the air. They have no idea who their goaltender is going to be this season.
Yeah.
Can you imagine literally last season going from Ullmark and Swayman to Korpisalo and Patera?
Okay.
Have fun, Don Sweeney.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to get a deal done. I mean, right? If you're Boston, you can't.
I think at
not
this
get
point,
a
if
deal
you're
done.
Boston, just to save face,
yeah,
you just need to say, "All right, Jeremy, what do you want? We'll give it to you."
Yeah. After Ullmark trading to Ullmark, you can't not sign Swayman. You just
and that's why, like, when I hear Bruins fans pissed and be like, "Oh, Swayman's just trying to get more money," I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, when they traded Ullmark, it was literally Boston basically handed Jeremy a fucking blank check. Like, you're our guy. We have no other option. Ask for whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. I mean, I get why fans are irritated. You know, they want him to be on the team, and they feel like he's, you know, trying to get as much money as he can, which every single fan would do the same thing with in any contract negotiation with their job. They want as much money as they can get. So it's being a Blues fan, somebody who hates Boston teams, this is hilarious.
I love it.
Huckin' hilarious. But and you know what? Let's be honest. Almost everybody in the NHL fans, they love it too. It's just comical.
I say there's 31 team fan bases that are just laughing hysterically right now. Yep. And of course, all the things I'm seeing. Swayman to Toronto. You really think that's going to happen, Toronto fans? No way.
Yes, they do, because they think they are entitled to the best of everything.
Anytime a good player is rumored to be leaving or on the block or going to be a free agent, they're coming to Toronto. They're coming to Toronto.
And I do think he's going to get traded. If Swayman gets traded, I do think Boston is going to be smart and be like, we will only trade to a Western Conference team. We don't want to see him that often.
Oh, yeah. There's not a... Well...
He'll go, I don't know. I can't think of a team off the top of my head. I don't know. But it's not going to be, at least in the division. Absolutely not.
No, I can see him going... Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, if he wound up a Saros first Wayman swap, I would be... that would suck.
I did see some people speculating Chicago because they have a lot of money.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. I hope not. That would be interesting.
Too far off.
Yeah, probably. All right, guys. I think that is our show. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
We got 6 hours until dawn.
It was an action-packed show. We had a lot to talk about. We gave away stuff, which was fun. My wife will be happy. There'll be less clutter in my basement, as it's all just been sitting by my computer waiting for me to give it away. So that's exciting. But yeah, for those of you who did win, congratulations. And again, if you have not already done so, please reach out to us on social media or at radio@letsgoblues.com and let us know where we can send your items. I do have everything set aside for our winners. So congratulations. And I do want to say we're going to do this more this season. We have some awesome sponsors. They help us out. So that allows us to get more giveaways and get more things like that, do more fun stuff. So again, to keep these sponsors, we need you to help them out. So again, Wolf Power Washing, currently Mike at strikewithmike.com. He is an awesome realtor. If you want to work with a hockey guy who also knows the market really well, make sure to reach out to Mike. And then, of course, starting next week, officially, RockinThatIDLife.com is back. I live by that stuff. I drink the energy every single day. I had some hydrate earlier as well. So please help support our sponsors. It makes the show better. I promise you. Again, the fun stuff Bill and I did over the summer, a lot of that was because of our sponsors. So we really appreciate it. Anything else to add, fellas?
No. We can shut her down, Earl.
Let's do it. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio, as I mentioned, brought to you by Mike Burgoyne, Wolf Power Washing, and we'll go ahead and give you a call out, RockinThatIDLife.com. That will wrap up episode 1 of season 14 of the original the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. It is late. I am tired. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Bill Day and Kirk Price, I am Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, hockey is fucking here. Let's go Blues.
See you at 3:30 next Tuesday, eh?
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sport. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.